This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. UVA Health Culpeper Medical Center is here to care for you and your loved ones. Our high-quality primary and specialty care locations right here in our community. Visit uvahealth.com for more information.
All right, Caroline High School is the place. Blue Devils versus Cavaliers is the ticket. And that's the scene for tonight's Battlefield District matchup. I'm Mark O'Connell, and it's my privilege to welcome to the broadcast for the first time this season, Chris Frazier. Chris, welcome aboard. It's great to see you.
Glad to be back. Thank you guys for having me. Can't wait to watch some Culpeper Blue Devil football tonight.
Well, we're midway through the season. Have you had a chance to follow along with how the Blue Devils and Cyclones are doing so far this year?
Been able to watch a few games, see Culpeper Fauquier game especially, watch that one. I just think both teams are kind of finding their stride here towards the middle of the season, and we'll see how tonight goes for the Blue Devils.
No, Blue Devils have taken it on the chin recently. They lost to Cortland big last week, and they lost to Liberty big the week before. They were missing a lot of players last week, and they suited up a lot of players from the JV roster to fill in. It looks like the Blue Devils are going to be able to welcome back some key players, and notably one of those is Riley Vineyard.
I think Riley Vineyard is going to be huge for the Blue Devil defense. Only a 10th grader, but really fits the system. He's a captain. I mean, just a huge piece for Eric Sherry's defense.
Yeah, and so, of course, if you're the Blue Devils, you're going to want to get as close to full strength as possible. They've had a rough go of it so far this season. Caroline, on the other hand, I'm not really sure about them. They lost to Eastern View last week, but they were apparently fairly competitive in the first half. It was that second half where Eastern View really turned it on and surged ahead of them for the big win. I think it was 45-29 to be exact. So I think Caroline is an improved football team.
Absolutely. They were 10-7 at halftime, and Caroline actually took the lead after the half. Eastern View, I think, ran the kickback right after that. So a slim lead there for Caroline, but definitely an improved team over the last couple years.
I think one of the things we're going to see with Caroline, like a lot of these teams, they have some really good skill players with speed. We're going to be calling Vladimir Joasin, the running back, his name frequently tonight. Blake Morris, a wide receiver. He's actually listed on the roster as an athlete, which means he can probably play many different positions and really be like a game maker for this team. And then, of course, the quarterback is Miles Holmes, and he threw for over 300 yards last week. So they have some players that are definitely quite legit. And really, the Blue Devils, I think, Caroline won the toss, deferred to the third quarter, and Culpeper's opted to receive. We're going to see the Blue Devil offense to start things here tonight momentarily as Caroline has teed it up, getting ready to kick off. But I really think that the Blue Devils, Chris, are going to have to start out strong. They can't afford to be in a come-from-behind situation.
I think so, too. Definitely getting the athletes in space. Like you said, those guys that are listed as athletes like Caleb Green, J.Q. Williams, and Jakari Edwards.
Caleb Green didn't call his name last week, didn't call Jakari Edwards. Hopefully they're suited up. And there's the kickoff, and a little bit of difficulty trying to get a handle on it. And once your knee touched, of course, the play is down. Looks like the Blue Devils will start over start on offense at about the 22-yard line. So we're underway here at Caroline High School. Battlefield District matchup. There's another, probably the biggest matchup this week is Cortland and Eastern View, Chris.
I think that one will be a good one.
I'm sorry, Cortland and, not Cortland. Eastern View's playing James Monroe. North Stafford. Cortland is playing King George.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a good one. Anytime King George is involved, you talk about those guys like Eastern View, King George, Cortland, definitely some good football.
It was something that Steve Peacock and I were talking about last week, is that the three teams that are really going to likely battle it out for that Battlefield District title, Eastern View, Cortland, and King George. Here's a quick hitter up the middle. Line of scrimmage was the 21, and falling forward to about the 24 was Jakari Edwards, which answers my question as to whether or not he's going to be suited up tonight. Obviously he is.
Yeah, you see Jakari Edwards back there as well as Caleb Green in that set that they're running back there with multiple running backs. I think that's important to keep Caroline's defense guessing as to who's getting the ball there.
Well, Jakari Edwards went to the sideline. Jeremiah Johnson, your quarterback under center. We got 2nd down and 7 here. Opening minute of this first quarter at Caroline High School. And then hand this one off, and upended near the 30-yard line was Culpeper's number 3, Caleb Green. We were just talking about him, and a few weeks ago he really stood out for the Blue Devils on both sides of the football. And I guess the unfortunate thing is they really can't duplicate Caleb Green several times over, but he's really a good athlete and certainly made his contributions earlier this season.
Absolutely, and Caleb Green looked to be about a shoestring tackle there from getting to the secondary and really breaking a play open for the Blue Devils.
And Chris, they're in a manageable 3rd and 2 situation here, and last week they found themselves in 3rd and long. It was just too much for the Blue Devils really to overcome. But 3rd and 2 is always manageable.
Absolutely, especially when you run this run-first offense that Culpeper has with the wishbone and the triple option and things like that. Anytime you can get your running backs running downhill is what you need.
All right, here's 3rd down and 2. Opening possession for the Blue Devils. Caroline shows pressure. And this is a quick hitter, and the running back dropped in the backfield for a loss. And that was Jakari Edwards, and Caroline Cavaliers defenders stuffed that one real quickly, and we've got our first player who goes down with an injury here.
Yeah, Culpeper ran the option play there, and Caroline brought pressure. Was able to get in the backfield there to stop Jakari Williams to bring up a 4th down.
Well, they had a 3rd and 2, but they didn't draw up the right play to put them in position to move the sticks and get a new set of downs. Well, we'll tell you that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Found & Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. Found & Sons at 825-3530. So still the injured player being attended to here. Chris, we were talking about some other games in action tonight. I'm hoping we can update our viewing audience as far as what's happening with Eastern View versus North Stafford, taking on the Wolverines tonight. And then we mentioned big game between Cortland and King George. It's, in a sense, it's kind of an early showdown between two top teams this season.
Absolutely. Anytime you can see those teams that can see each other later in the playoffs, it opens things up to kind of that mind game, too, is how the first game went, who did well against who. They're looking at it and they're looking at the schedule, especially when it comes to those three teams that you were talking about.
Yeah, we were mentioning how good King George is. Those two Division I receivers, Chance Wiggins and Mackay White, they're the real deal. But, Cortland's got a good team. We've seen them recently, saw them last week, as a matter of fact, and we know that Eastern View's got a very good football team. But tonight, it's Culpeper and Caroline, and we mentioned the Blue Devils very hungry to get their first win of the season. But on that 3rd and 2, that was a bust, and now the Blue Devils will have to punt, and that'll mean Marcus Ahikam, who wears jersey number 28. And it looks like we have our first yellow flag on the field.
We might have the Blue Devils picking up a first down here.
Well, it's 4th and 4? If it's offsides against Caroline, that would give them 5 yards and a first down. And now the officials will confer to sort it out.
Looked like on the right side there that end jumped in, causing that last guy on the line there to jump. It's Depends on what they're seeing here.
Well, the man in the white hat is supposed to signal what the call is, and it is offsides, and that is 5 yards. That should be enough for a Blue Devil first down here.
Absolutely, it looks like it. The Blue Devil offense is coming back onto the field, and that's just huge for Culpeper on the first possession to get another shot here to move down the field.
And they'll mark it at the 32, a new set of downs for the Blue Devils. And we mentioned that the quarterback is Jeremiah Johnson. He wears jersey number 10. Caleb Green is in the lineup tonight, as is Jakari Edwards. Garrett Damewood is jersey number 2. Coming near side receiver, number 15, Dalton Butler. All right, here's Johnson and company with a new set of downs. 1st and 10 from the Blue Devil 32-yard line. We are in the first quarter here at Caroline. This is going to be a sweep to the left, and breaking out of the mix there and picking up some additional yardage was Jakari Edwards. They really missed him last week.
Yeah, definitely when you have a guy like him not in the lineup, it changes things for you. We've already seen him tonight get 3 or 4 carries, especially breaking out to the outside there. If you can get him to the outside, same with Caleb Green. Like I said, get those guys in space, and good things are going to happen for the Blue Devils.
That play had greater potential, but I believe Edwards was too close to the sidelines to stretch it any further. Nevertheless, he picked up 5 yards, and here is 2nd and 5 Blue Devils here in the first quarter. I'm looking for the clock, and it's obstructed from view. All right, here's a handoff. Caleb Green. Green broke a couple of tackles nicely. They had a chance of trapping for a loss in the backfield. He broke 2 and picked up at least a yard or 2 there to make up another manageable 3rd down. But this is where the Blue Devils last time, Chris, on 3rd and 2, the play call went to Jakari Edwards. He never had a chance. They stuffed him in the backfield for a loss. And let's see if they can put something together here on 3rd and 4.
And those are the type of second down runs for 1 yard that aren't really going to do much in the box score for you. But that could have been a loss for 2 or 3 yards, and instead Caleb Green turned that into a 1 yard gain.
All right, here's 3rd and 4. Caroline showing pressure, man in motion. It's a toss to him. This is Caleb Green. And upended after he gets across the 40, a penalty flag down, and this should be, let's check the spot here. He's going to be about a yard shy of a first down, depending upon the penalty. What did you see, Chris? Were you able to note what was might be the infraction?
Might have had a hold on the outside there, but Damewood made a good cut in the backfield there to lose a defender and make this manageable depending on the penalty here for the Blue Devils.
Well, it's unfortunately the flag you see most often on a play like that, the holding, and it brings it back. And they're going to mark it to 29. Well, the clock is stopped with 8:13 to play here in the first quarter. That's going to be a hard one to see tonight, Chris, as far as what the clock is doing, because our view is definitely obstructed. But we're thankful to be here. We're sitting up top of the press box at Caroline High School. So far, the weather's pretty good. It's nice and cool. This big penalty, though, for the Blue Devils makes it 2nd down and about 13 from the 29-yard line. Jeremiah Johnson under center. There's pressure. Ball is dropped. He picks it up, able to recover it, and maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. Well, you know, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. That's Battlefield.
Looked like a bobbled snap there as well. It looked like we had Jakari Edwards out on the outside with Caleb Green possibly getting the ball there, getting around that left side of the offense.
Well, they are lined up to punt on 4th and 13. Will it be a fake? No. Heacom runs and then kicks away. Nice kick. And quickly covered by the Blue Devils special teams. So it was a nice kick and nice coverage downfield. But Caroline, we'll see them on offense for the first time tonight. They're going to have good field position as they send their offensive unit out to moving right to left here against the Blue Devils at Caroline High School. Like I said, Caroline played Eastern View last week and lost. Culpeper lost to Cortland. And now let's take a look at this Caroline offense, led by Miles Holmes, the quarterback, who wears jersey number 7. And his primary ball carrier has been Vladimir Joasin. So you'll hear those names frequently tonight. All right, here's some play action. This is Holmes throwing downfield. This one is intercepted. First pass of the night is intercepted. It's a Blue Devil pick by Justin Elkins.
And what a play there by Justin Elkins, jumping in front of that pass there. I think that one needs to go for a replay. We have Miles Holmes dropping back, looking to his left, looking to his right, trying to complete the pass, and then we have Justin Elkins picking it off for a Blue Devil turnover, setting the Blue Devils up on the 34-yard line.
Yeah, nicely done, Chris Frazier. Really glad you're here tonight. I know you're going to have a fun time. Well, big interception and turnover for the Blue Devils. They needed that, didn't they? Back on offense. Johnson going to throw for the first time tonight. He airs it out. Incomplete. Intended for Butler. And with him stride for stride there for Caroline, number 6. No, make it number 5, Morgan Schneider.
Good for the Blue Devils. They're taking a shot after they get a turnover, trying to catch the defense sleeping. They've gone run, run, run so far. Trying to get that go route up to Dalton Butler there. Just threw it out of bounds.
Well, I don't think I called the correct number, but I'll tell you what, these Caroline numbers are sort of hard to pick up, aren't they? They got the blue numbers on the black jersey, the background. We're going to really need your young eyes tonight, aren't we?
We'll see.
Pressure showing by the Cavaliers. All right, here's the handoff. Looking for a little running room. Won't find any. And that is Caleb Green. And good interior penetration by the Cavaliers up front. Clock running, about 7 minutes to play here in this first quarter. So far, we're scoreless. And we haven't seen the Caroline offense except for one play. Miles Holmes went to the pass. He had great protection, threw it downfield. Excellent defensive play by Justin Elkins for the turnover. And now the Blue Devils, however, look at a 3rd and 11 here.
I think that's important for the Blue Devils to stay on the field offensively, not just to score, but to take time away from that Caroline passing offense.
All right, now you can see the running clock. Here's 3rd down and 11. Jeremiah Johnson, here's the pitch, Jakari Edwards. He's got a couple blockers in front. Edwards, he's got a 1st down and more, and Edwards tackled Caroline territory inside the 40-yard line down to about the 39. And Chris, you've spotted a penalty flag. Will that be a holding?
Didn't see that one, but right there in the area where you had those blockers out in front where that wide receiver was blocking downfield.
All right. Well, we'll get the official call here in just a moment.
Looks like the Blue Devils offense is walking backwards here. Not a good sign for Culpeper.
Likely going to be a holding, isn't it? And it is. All right. Well, that'll negate that nice run by Jakari Edwards, at least to some extent, but it's different here with the high school rules, isn't it? I mean, he gets the 1st down, but he doesn't have as much yardage. He was down to about the 39 of Caroline, but with the penalty, they pushed it back to the 45, but it's still enough for a 1st down.
Still enough for a 1st down, doesn't set you back on the early downs, and that was there for Culpeper. That's a play they're probably going to come back to.
Well, you can see clearly why Jakari Edwards is so important to this Blue Devil offense. Now from the 45-yard line, 1st and 10. Johnson under center. Here's the pitch. This is Caleb Green. Caleb Green makes the cut, turns back inside, gets out to about midfield, pick up a 5, brings up 2nd and 5. This broadcast brought to you in part by Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. 317-1473.
Another good run there for Caleb Green, getting downfield, putting his head down, picking up 4 yards. That's going to be huge for the Blue Devils tonight, keeping him and Jakari Williams involved in that run game.
Exactly. 2nd down and 6. Ball at the 49 of Culpeper. All right, here's Johnson. There's another penalty flag coming in as this run is stopped near the line of scrimmage.
Looks to be in the area of holding there with that referee in the middle of the field calling it right on the line.
All right, well, as they assess this one, we'll tell you this broadcast brought to you by UVA Health Culpeper Medical Center, here to care for you and your loved ones at our quality primary and specialty care locations right here in the community. Learn more at uvahealth.com.
And that was a holding on Culpeper, backing him up to 2nd and long here.
Well, they've had, at least 2 holding penalties so far tonight here in this first quarter. Ball back at the 39-yard line. Here's the pitch. This is, I believe, Jakari Edwards. He was looking for a little running room, but no blockers in front of him, and he drew a crowd of 4 or 5 black jerseys with those blue numbers. That's Caroline, red and blue, black jerseys. And then now we're looking at another 3rd down, and this is going to be about 3rd and 15 here from the 40-yard line. Big play coming up here for Culpeper. What might they be able to draw up?
If anything, if you're not picking up the 1st down, getting a chunk of this yardage so that we can have Aikem come in and get a punt and hopefully switch the fields here for the Blue Devils. I mean, they had great coverage on the punt before. If they can pin them down there deep, maybe they can get a short field.
And speaking of Marcus Aikem, he's been doing a good job punting, but they'd like to keep him over there for a while, pick up a few 1st downs first. Throwing it out there, incomplete. And there's yet another penalty flag down. That pass was intended for Butler, Dalton Butler.
I think this one's going to be on Caroline, it looks like, in the area of pass interference.
To which the Blue Devils would graciously accept, right?
Absolutely. Pick up a 1st down here and try again on the other side of midfield, or very close to midfield.
Going to be a holding, this time against Caroline. All right, now they're marking it off. But see, here's a problem with calls like that. We don't get automatic 1st downs, do we?
No, not at the high school level, but with holding, at least you're picking up a 3rd and manageable here at a 3rd and 5.
Right, so you have the ball at midfield. Looks like we have a timeout on the field. All right. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, action will resume with the Blue Devils looking at a 3rd and about 5 from midfield. Stay tuned.
Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. CFC Farm and Home Center, 825-2200. Found & Sons, 825-3530. Cash Imprints, 317-1473. Battlefield Automotive, 547-3673. Nominate today at localsportshistory.com. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, 825-8371. UVA Health Culpeper Medical Center, 829-4100.
All right, welcome back to our broadcast, where after the timeout, the Blue Devils have 3rd and 5 from right at midfield. Let's see what they draw up here with Jeremiah Johnson under center at the controls. Johnson, he's going to throw it over the middle of the field. Got a receiver. This one's caught. Big yardage, and it is number 12 for Culpeper. That is Jaden Carter.
Absolutely. Jaden Carter makes a huge play there. I think we should take a look at that one on replay.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at this one, Chris. Thing of beauty.
Absolutely. Jeremiah Johnson drops back, sees Jaden Carter in the middle of the field on a little tight end dump, and we're down inside the red zone for the Blue Devils.
What a play. Down to the 13-yard line. 1st and 10. Culpeper moving. Beautiful pass play from Johnson. So we said number 15, or was it 12? Oh, yeah, Jaden Carter. Well, that's what happens when you give your quarterback time to throw. You might find a receiver out there. Jakari Edwards gets bottled up quickly. He fights for yardage, but he just drew even more black jerseys as they stop him short here. You're looking at the clock, 3:31 to play here, first quarter action. We're scoreless. This broadcast brought to you in part by CFC Farm and Home Center, the service, knowledge, and products you need for your farm, home, pets, livestock, and equine since 1932. That's CFC Farm and Home Center. All right. Down to 3:31 to play in the first quarter. Scoreless, but the Blue Devils knocking on the door here as that expression goes, and they have it 2nd and 10. Edwards no gain on that last play. In the backfield is Edwards and Caleb Green. Here's Johnson under center. Handoff, Caleb Green, left side. Nice run. lowered his shoulder, got down close to the 5-yard line. This broadcast brought to you in part by K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Easterview High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please, at 825-8371. And also, nominations are being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving. Respectful local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. All right, here we go. Second down. Handoff. Takari Edwards. He's going to be at the 5. And it's going to bring up, looks like 4th down here, Chris. And let's check and see what looks like 4th and 2. So they can get a first down without having to score. So if you're the offense coordinator, what are you drawing up here on 4th and 2?
I think you've got to get Caleb Green going downfield again. He's been picking up 3-4 yards every carry. Let's see if we can get somebody moving and get him the ball.
Jakari Edwards is the man behind Johnson. Looks like, are the Blue Devils going to call a timeout? Well, no, we got a penalty flag down. Well, we've had a few of those early on in this game. Holdings and gets both teams. Here's the call. Or is it? Yep, they're going to mark it off 5 yards.
I wonder if they broke the huddle with too many guys or had too many guys on the offense. Oh,
no,
false start.
Yep,
false start.
You got it. False start, illegal procedure, moves the ball back to the 10. Now they've got to get down to, it looks like the 3 for first down.
They're kicking it looks like.
Well, wondered if they might do that. All right. So let's check the kicker's number. It's not Marcus Ahikam.
63.
All right, there he is. All right, they're going to spot it at the 17. 27-yard field goal attempt coming up here in just a moment. Well, you might as well hold on to your hats because another penalty flag is down, and it could be a second penalty flag down.
It looks like we're going to get a Blue Devil first down here. They hit the holder, who is Jeremiah Johnson, after the whistle had blown. Probably a personal foul and a first down for the Blue Devils.
Well, to me, it seems like this game has been quickly marred by penalty flags.
Yeah, a couple drives to the Blue Devils there. Been stalled by penalties. They've had a couple work in their favor. This looks to be another one. It might keep the special teams off the field and keep Saul Acevedo from kicking his first field goal tonight.
Well, did you pick up the jersey number for the kicker? Was it 66?
63.
Oh,
Saul Acevedo.
Oh, okay. Acevedo. So Saul Acevedo. All right, so we get the false start, offsides, and then we have the dead ball, personal foul. All right, so what does it all mean?
Offsides would have got him close to a first down.
It means first down for the Blue Devils inside that 5. We'll call it the 3. Steve, I almost said Steve. I was thinking that he might want to warm up his vocals for touchdown Blue Devils, but I think you can interject your own signature phrase as you wish here, provided the Blue Devils don't turn this one over. Jeremiah Johnson straight ahead. Let's check the call. Blue Devils think he's in, and the officials have a signal. They do. So Johnson is in from 3 yards out. Steve would say touchdown Blue Devils in his signature tone.
There we
what
go.
might you say on that drive?
We've got a Blue Devil touchdown. Let's take a look at that at replay. We have Jeremiah Johnson under center, doing his best Jalen Hurts impression without the push there, sneaking in for a Blue Devil touchdown.
Well, one of the things about calling a game with you and Steve is that you guys are so in tune with players at high school, college, and pro level. So you drop a name like Jalen Hurts, a guy like me might know that. You're talking about the Phillies quarterback?
Absolutely.
All right. And a lot of people out there would, but you guys do a good job of keeping track of what the high school, college, and professional teams are doing. Now, on for the point after, Johnson, who just scored the touchdown, is the holder. It's going to be a fake. This one is designed. And in the end zone, he threw it away. He had it looks like he had a couple open receivers there. Notably, number 21 was open, and that was Justin Elkins.
Yeah, Justin Elkins, who had our interception earlier for the Blue Devils, looked to be open there in the corner. That did not look like a broken play. That looked like a planned fire there for the Blue Devils. But they go up 6-0.
Well, unquestionably, the play of the drive had to be the pass play from Johnson to Justin Elkins that really set them up in the red zone. And they were able to, despite a couple of penalties, they were able to keep the drive going. They get into the end zone, and as Rambo said, they drew first blood.
They did, and I'm sure Caroline's in unfamiliar territory here. We're at 2:04 left in the first quarter, and they have run one offensive play.
Absolutely. Excellent point, because one offensive play resulted in an interception. So if you're the Blue Devils, that's got to boost your morale some.
Absolutely. To get out in front and jump on the lead, it's got to be huge for the Blue Devils. And the way that they're chewing clock, if they can get a stop and get us into the second quarter, it's going to be just huge mentally for the Blue Devil team.
All right. Well, you know, we are live this year, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air. And answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. Keep it on the ground. Here's a return man across the 40, 45 midfield. And they're going to wrap him up and out of bounds. Caleb Green makes a tackle at about the 41. So the return there, short kick and a nice return, gives Caroline excellent field position as they go on offense only for the second time here in the quarter, and they're going to start in Culpeper territory.
Yeah, they put a squib down the middle there, and number 81 for Caroline was able to take it and get around the edge there and get into Blue Devil territory. But we'll see what the Caroline offense does. Went pass heavy. You said quarterback Miles Holmes had 300 yards in his last game, so see if the quick strike Caroline offense can get one here.
And remember, on their first play, he did go to the air. Not this time. He's going to hand off. Here's a nice tackle. And that's made by number 56 at Culpeper.
Jaden Hendrickson.
Yep, Jaden Hendrickson. Nice solo tackle. A ball carrier at the 41-yard line. And no gain. 2nd and 10 coming up. You're looking at the clock there. 1:34 to play. Our score, Blue Devils 6, Cavaliers nothing. 2nd and 10. Miles Holmes is the quarterback for Caroline as he resets the offensive alignment here on 2nd down. Here's Holmes. Handoff, running back, churning those legs, and got close to the 45-yard line. Making the tackle, or at least finishing it, was number 12, Jaden Carter for Culpeper. He's going to bring up 3rd and about 4.
Yep, you had Jaden Carter there with Riley Vineyard finishing that tackle there. And if the Blue Devils can keep them at 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 and more, it's going to be a good time for the Blue Devils on defense.
You mentioned Riley Vineyard. I know the Blue Devils welcomed him back to the lineup. He's right there in the middle of things, at linebacker position. All right, 3rd down and 4. Clock ticking, about 30 seconds in the first. There's Holmes airing it out, got a receiver, far side, caught near that 1st down marker. And that was caught by number 1, Malik Johnson. It's enough for a Caroline 1st down. Clock stopped on the play, 25.3 seconds to play. Now it resumes running. Caroline has a new set of downs. They can take their time. No need to rush. Ball at the 29 of Culpeper. Looks like time for one more play before this first quarter expires. Holmes operating from the gun. There's the snap. Handoff. Straight ahead. Ball carrier bounces off one tackler and another. Here he goes. Still on his feet. Into the end zone for a touchdown, but looks like they may be bringing this one back. And let's check the ball carrier. It looks like that's number 9. Yeah, Vladimir Joison. He's the primary ball carrier. I think they're going to be bringing this one back, Chris. I know you saw the flag before I did. Here comes the call from the man with the white hat.
That flag was thrown right at the snap, too.
False start or illegal procedure against Caroline brings it back. But this is the sort of thing that Steve and I were talking about the last couple of weeks, is that you've got to wrap these ball carriers up and bring them down. I mean, Joison was able to get away from several defenders.
Absolutely, and you saw it in the Fauquier game especially. They were able to keep pace with Fauquier, but it was the big plays that put the Blue Devils at a disadvantage.
Well, into the quarter here, first one that is. Here at Caroline High School with our score, Blue Devils 6, Cavaliers nothing. We'll take a break and we'll come back for the second quarter after these messages. Stay tuned. You're watching Blue Devils football on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with cash imprints. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. UVA Health Culpeper Medical Center is here to care for you and your loved ones at our high-quality primary and specialty care locations right here in our community. Visit uvahealth.com for more information.
All right, well, you just may have just witnessed that pass from Holmes to number 17 on the first play of the second quarter. And guess who it was? Blake Morris. On the roster, listed as ATH, which is short for athlete, and that's why. 34-yard pass play. We're tied up 6 apiece. Opening play of the second quarter, Chris Frazier.
Yeah, beautiful pass there by Miles Holmes. We can take that one to replay. See Miles Holmes take the snap, looks in the slot to number 17, listed as an athlete, and makes a catch just like one. We have a touchdown, Caroline.
And you know, Chris, here's the point after. It's up and good. Caroline up 7-6. But when I watched that play unfold, the defender was right there with him. It just happened that, Morris had a little bit better read on where that ball was.
Yeah, Morris went up, made a great play on that ball, right in the end zone, and didn't no yards after the catch. But like you said, the Culpeper corner was right there, and they've played tight on these receivers. We saw Justin Elkins make that interception out by midfield in the first quarter, and you got to give it to the Culpeper defense. They're playing tight and they're getting pressure on Holmes.
All right, well, opening minute, actually 9 seconds of this second quarter is all it took for Holmes to connect with Blake Morris, and the Cavaliers are back in business. The point after good, they lead by 1. Well, this broadcast brought to you in part by Found & Sons Funeral Homes, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. Found & Sons, 825-3530. Also want to mention Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. That's Battlefield. All right, Mark O'Connell, Chris Frazier, Johnny Krawchuk with you tonight. Caroline High School is the place, 7-6 in favor of the Cavaliers. Let's see if the Blue Devils can respond. They've looked pretty good on offense. If you take away some of these penalties, Chris, that's been a little bit of a setback, but it hasn't hurt them too much yet.
It hasn't. It's taken away that one play.
Kickoff. This one's going to be fielded at about the 15-yard line. And going in reverse, still on his feet, trying to get away from the would-be tacklers is number 23 for Culpeper, and that is Tennessee Norman.
Yeah, Norman there gets around the edge, went backwards a little bit, but was able to put the Blue Devils at a decent spot here around the 30. And you were talking about the penalties before. If the Blue Devils can avoid those penalties here on this drive, and again, chew that clock and get into the end zone before halftime, it's got to be great mentally for the Blue Devils.
Well, one of the things that we've seen the last few weeks is Jeremiah Johnson under so much pressure from the beginning of these plays where he really didn't have time to do anything. But on that pass play, the big one earlier with Lentz, I mean, or did I get the name wrong? Anyway, with the big pass play, it was he had time and he was able to go to work. Here's a reverse. And this is Garrett Danewood. He's got running room. Danewood, open field, near sidelines. Penalty flag down. Let's check it as Danewood makes his way to the end zone from, I believe, that's a 71-yard run.
Yeah, 71-yard run coming back. It looks like flag here at midfield. I think you're going to get a one of those blindside blocks coming back on the Blue Devil wide receiver.
Well, you know, you were just mentioning about that very thing about not getting a penalty at such a crucial moment.
No, and that's one of those plays for the Blue Devils. You can't run that more than once. I mean, that's an inside reverse, and you get Danewood with that much space, and he was gone. I mean, when that flag came out, he was absolutely gone.
He had a lot of green grass in front of him, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Holding will push him back to the 20.
Well, but they're marking it at the 35.
You're right. High school rules.
Yeah, you have to keep that in mind. It's not always as devastating as it sounds,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Yeah. All right, we've got a timeout on the field taken by Culpeper. Well, our timeout sponsor is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial wellness of our members and the Culpeper community. UVAcreditunion.org.
Blue Devils looking at about a 1st and 5 here, coming out of a timeout. I think, like you were talking about earlier with the no time for Johnson to pass, if those quick hits that he can get, I mean, we saw the one to Jaden Carter, getting Caleb Green. I think we've gone away from Jakari Edwards here a little bit, but just getting those guys downfield, getting those athletes in space is going to be huge for the Blue Devils here in the second quarter.
No, absolutely. Well, Chris Frazier joins us tonight. It's great to have you on board, and I know you've been looking forward to getting back into the mix of things. It's always a pleasure working with you. I think you're one of the few guys I've worked with who wears green.
Hey, every school, every job I've ever had has had blue. So
yeah, we were talking about that earlier, and so that's been a thing where you're sort of breaking a little trend by wearing something other than blue, right? Here's a handoff, running back going nowhere. He's going to be dropped for a loss back at the 35-yard loss. Let's see who. I'm trying to pick up the number of the running back. Was it Edwards?
Looked like Edwards again. Yeah, we talked about Edwards not getting the carries, and then comes in there, and it seems like in between the tackles there, we're not getting the space for the offense to operate.
Yep, lost 3 yards, brings up, we have it at the 32. I had it at the 35. It looks to me like they haven't reset that. I'm a little confused. Well, he has to get to the 39 for a first down. And here it is, 2nd and 7. Here's Johnson. He rolls to his right. He looks downfield. No one is open. He's going to keep it. And he's going to get tackled hard as he got only close to the line of scrimmage there. Was that a coverage? I guess the receivers must have been covered downfield.
Yeah, it looked like the Blue Devils had a 2-man route there, and when he rolls out to the right, cuts his chances in half. So taking a little bit of a coverage sack there, but good on Jeremiah Johnson for trying to get back to the line of scrimmage and pick up some positive yards for the Blue Devils.
Well, it's going to be 3rd and 9 here, so here's a big 3rd down play. A whistle to stop it momentarily. And check the call. We can tell you that, let's give it a chance to tell you that that it's good to be here at Caroline High School, and the weather right now is good. It feels good out here. Blue Devils are playing competitively. It's 7-6 Caroline rather, not Carolina. But we were talking about some of the college games, and we mentioned NC State and some others, and we can talk about that some too as we try to keep our viewing audience. Here's Danewood on the inside reverse. This time, Caroline's not fooled by that, and that nets nothing. That's going to bring up a 4th down, and Marcus Sahikam to punt this one away for Culpeper. Well, this broadcast brought to you in part by UVA Health, Culpeper Medical Center, here to care for you and your loved ones at our quality primary and specialty care locations right here in our community. Learn more at uvahealth.com. Chris, I don't think you like that play call, do you? Because it may work the first time. The second time, it typically doesn't fool anyone, does it?
Doesn't fool anyone the second time, and it seemed.
Oh, Marcus Heekham's kick must have been blocked. There's a lot of pressure. He tends to run to the right a few yards before he kicks it. What do you think is the purpose in that?
You've seen it a lot in college now. A lot of these guys are doing the rugby-style kick.
Yeah.
I mean, you've even got guys that are rugby players that are punting now in some of these colleges, and it gives the option for the fake. It gives your coverage a little time to get down there, but it does let that pressure come in, and if you're not blocking him on the top side there, you're going to get pressure on your punter.
Yeah, and Heekham, he converted a fake punt a week ago that worked. So, and he actually, I think, even had a couple carries as a running back late in the game. So Caroline, with that block punt, takes over on the Culpeper 22. You can look at the scoreboard there, 7-6 Caroline, 9:04 to play, second quarter action. But Caroline here in good position to extend its lead. All right, here's the running back. This is Vladimir Joasin. He gets down to about the 11. That'll be enough for a first down.
And even this late early in the second quarter here, we've only seen Joasin carry the ball about 3 times. One was called back for a touchdown, and that was about his third carry. So limiting the run game here for Caroline, but got to stay on it with the pass game for Culpeper's defense.
And all right, let's say it's the 11. First and 10 there. Yeah, so Caroline, you could see, could get a first down without having to score. This is Joasin. He makes the cut, and then the Blue Devils stand him up and push him back after he picked up 2 or 3 yards. All right, this broadcast brought to you by CFC Farm and Home Center. The service, knowledge, and products you need for your farm, home, pets, livestock, and equine since 1932. That's CFC Farm and Home Center.
It looked like we had another flag there on that play. The referees are talking about it now, it looks like, but our marker has gone backwards, so it might be another hold here on Caroline. Personal foul on Culpeper.
Wow. I think that's one of those half the distance things. So now they have the ball. Yeah, now they have the ball at the 3.
Yep, first and goal here for Caroline.
Miles Holmes, the quarterback for Caroline, under center. The tailback, number 9, Vladimir Joasin. The lead back, Angelo Tour. On first and goal. Straight ahead. Toure, the ball carrier. Big fullback, bruising his way to the end zone. Touchdown, Caroline from 3 yards out. And Caroline now up 13-6.
And before our extra point here, we can take a look at the instant replay to see what happened for the Caroline touchdown. Just in an I formation, a handoff to the fullback there, and Toure runs it in for Caroline's second score of this second quarter.
All right, Miles Holmes, the quarterback, is the holder. And the point after attempt coming up here in a second. Here it is. Kick is up. Kick is good. 14-6 our score in favor of the Cavaliers with exactly 8 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please, at 825-8371. And nominations are being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving respectful local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. And we mentioned that we are live, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. All right. Well, Chris, as you look back on that Caroline scoring drive, what stands out in your mind as maybe the key thing that made it successful?
I think that block punt by Caroline, giving them great field position there. And then, of course, the penalty by Culpeper, putting them right on the goal line almost. But I think what's important for Culpeper here is realizing that you have 8 minutes. You can still run your offense and get down the field.
Absolutely. Squib kick here, ball loose. Caroline has it, but I'm not so sure. Are they going to give it to them here? Caroline says yes. They came up with it. And I think the special teams player, that's what I thought. They're giving it to Culpeper. And I thought that was a good call because it just was.
Yeah, it almost looked like the Caroline player kind of ran in there and took it out of his arms when he was on the ground.
That's kind of what I was seeing. I thought, I know he came up with the ball, but that did not mean that was necessarily possession to Caroline. And I think Culpeper can be grateful for that one.
Absolutely. It's like that fight on the bottom of the pile when everybody's grabbing for the ball and the fumble. Got to be the guy that comes up with it, but a touch and go there play for the Blue Devils. Hopefully they can capitalize on this drive.
Well, you see a kick like that, and after it goes 10 yards and the way it's bouncing around, the kickoff team has as good a chance of getting it as you do.
Absolutely, so unpredictable when you can work those squib kicks and the onside kicks. If you can get a kicker that can do it, it's very valuable.
All right, Culpeper back on offense, starting at its own 33. It trails 14-6. This is a handoff. This looks like Caleb Green, and they're going to stuff him at the line of scrimmage and may have actually lost a yard. Clock will continue to run. You can see it there, 7:45 to play, second quarter action. Caroline, the home team, currently on top, 14-6. Culpeper took the early lead on a touchdown and then tried a 2-point conversion that did not work. And then Caroline's come back with 2 scores to take an 8-point lead.
Culpeper behind the sticks here on second down needs to put something to get us into third, and get them into third and manageable here to be successful on this drive.
Right. So lost a yard on first down, and it is 2nd and 11. Here's the pitch. Ja'Cory Edwards makes the cut, turns upfield, and pretty good run. Got across the 35, out to about the 38. That's going to bring up a third down, and I believe about 6. So time for a big play call for the Blue Devils.
I think that's also big for Ja'Cory Edwards. He had been bottled up a few times in a row there. Just for a running back psyche, getting through to that next level, being able to make a play, especially for a guy as quick as Ja'Cory.
Tough play to dial up here, isn't it, on 3rd and 6? You have the ball at your own 38. You need a first down, and really the best way to keep Blake Morris and Miles Holmes and Vladimir Joason off the field is to keep your own offense on the field. We'll see if the Blue Devils can string it together here. Here's Johnson. He's got a receiver out there. That's Edwards going up for it and making a nice catch. And gives the Blue Devils a first down. Edwards delivers here on a first down play.
That's a great play action play there. And even better, the subtle detail there of Jeremiah Johnson putting his hand out to fake that extra handoff, letting Ja'Cory Edwards leak out there and pick up the first down.
Athletic catch made by Ja'Cory Edwards. First down, Blue Devils, and now have it at their own 45-yard line. You can see the clock. We're approaching that midway mark of the second quarter. Blue Devils trailing by 8, 14-6. Ball at their own 45. Jeremiah Johnson is the quarterback driving by. Here comes the pressure. He's going to be sacked for a loss. Never had a chance there. Coming in and making the play for Caroline was number 24, and that is someone I don't have. Do you have a 24?
I don't. Oh.
For Caroline.
I do not.
Yeah. If Steve were here, he would say, well, there's our game's phantom player. Unless it's a number. No, it is number 24. We're talking about how these numbers, the blue on that black background, is sort of hard to pick up. You can see them right now, but it is 24, and somehow I think he made the roster. He did make the play, though. Second down, looks like it's going to be about 18 to go. Yeah, it is second down at 18. Ball now at the 37. All right, handoff. Making a cut, Caleb Green. Got across the 40, out to about the 43. Brings up the 3rd and very long.
And that's another one where you're getting Colton Green. It's his brother, plays for the middle school team. Talked to him today about this game.
In fact, you were talking about him earlier, and he's playing quarterback for the middle school?
He is playing quarterback for the middle school team. Be up with the Blue Devils next year, hopefully. Played well yesterday. They beat Prospect 48-0.
Wow. So they stung the Prospect Heights Yellow Jackets, right?
They did.
Johnson back to pass, airs it out, downfield. He got a receiver, but he underthrows him, and this pass is picked off. And it's by number 17. That is Blake Morris, who now has made 2 big plays, one on each side of the football tonight. He's got that touchdown catch. Now he gets the interception, but it looked to me like he had an open receiver out there. He simply underthrew him.
Yeah, I didn't catch the Blue Devil wide receiver out there, but I mean, Jeremiah Johnson throws a good ball, just didn't get it out far enough, and our Blake Morris makes a great play there. That's why he's been all over the place. That's why he's listed as an athlete.
Yeah. So the turnover gives the ball back to the Cavaliers, and they'll start this drive on their own 35.
I think it's important here for the Blue Devils to obviously keep them from scoring, but limit the big play. You don't want to give them a chance to score more than once before halftime, especially on a short field.
All right, here's the pitch. The running back there, number 17, and he can't get away from the Riley Vineyard, who uses his jersey to sling him down for a loss on the play.
And
there he is, number 34, Riley Vineyard, making his presence known.
Absolutely, and that's the difference we were talking about with Riley Vineyard being out there, someone to chase down that play there, tackle him for a loss instead of a 5, 6, 7-yard gain.
Right, and really had Vineyard not make that tackle, we don't know what might have happened. 1-yard loss brings up 2nd and 11. Caroline has it at the 34. As you can see, up 14-6, clock running. 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. Miles Holmes goes to the gun here. Play action. Wide open receiver over the middle of the field, and he dropped it. And then Riley Vineyard has picked it up for the Blue Devils. And let's check, and the receiver there is also a little bit shaken up. Now he's on his feet. That was number 5 for Caroline, Morgan Schneider, the tight end. Wow, what a target, 6'3", 230 pounds. He had him open over the middle. He had a first down, and then he fumbled it, and Riley Vineyard was there for the recovery.
Yeah, Caroline had a play action there, fooled the defensive end who was going for the running back there. Nice little flip to the tight end, but unfortunately a fumble for Caroline. And I think even with 3.5 or 350 here for the Blue Devils, you can still run your offense. The big play is still there. You might have to open it up a little bit in the pass game in a few plays, but you are still able to work your offense.
Exactly, and you're not on your heels. You're not inside your own 10 or 15-yard line. You're going to have decent field position at the 40. So we were just mentioning Riley Vineyard making the tackle, the solo tackle for a 1-yard loss. Then the next play, he ends up getting the fumble recovery.
Absolutely. Riley Vineyard all over the place. We've talked about it multiple times about how important it is for that Blue Devil defense for him to be out there. He's an excellent athlete. He's a wrestler, excellent. I think he plays baseball as well, but yeah, excellent athlete. And
when I saw him not padded up, not dressed for last week's game, I could see him being a wrestler.
Absolutely. He wrestled at the middle school level when I was there, and I mean, just a kid.
And you coach Culpeper, don't you?
Culpeper Middle School.
Culpeper Middle School. And didn't you all wrestle Prospect Heights last year? Because I'm pretty sure it was at
we
the
did.
match.
Yeah, that tournament over at the Orange Fieldhouse.
Yeah. So will you be coaching again this year?
I will not. I'll be coaching wrestling. Still doing lacrosse.
Okay.
No wrestling this year.
No wrestling this year. Well, we need to, when we can, extend congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you.
Get to that in just a second. Here's the handoff. And was this Green on the ball carry? Let's check it out right here. Trying to see his number. No, that's Vineyard.
Oh, yeah.
He got his first carry of the night.
talking about them all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, running offense, on defense, special teams, picking up fumbles.
Well, hey, if you're going to tackle a guy for a loss and get a fumble recovery, why don't you just carry the ball sometime?
There you go.
Right, why not? Got to get your best athletes out there and,
Yeah.
and get them in different positions. We talked about Caroline's Blake Morris, listed as an athlete for good reason. Here's Jakari Edwards, and he's tackled as he got just across the line of scrimmage. Nominal pickup brings up a 3rd and long here, 3rd and 9.
And I think Riley's out there because I'm not seeing Caleb Green on the field here.
Yeah.
Got to wonder if he was a little banged up on that last defensive series. He's another one that's been on the field, I think, in every facet of the game. I mean, I don't think he's come off the field.
Yeah, I do believe you are correct. See the last 2.5 minutes ticking away here in this second quarter. From the 41, 3rd and 9. Here's Johnson. He's able to get to Riley Vineyard out there in the flat. Vineyard breaks the tackle, lowers his shoulder, got across midfield Caroline territory, a 1st down and a new set of downs for these Blue Devils. And they look better tonight than I've seen them all year.
Yeah, they do. That play action by Jeremiah Johnson's working really well out to that right side, to his strong side. And, of course, announcers jinx. We see Caleb Green back on the field right after we talked about him not being on the field. So he is back out there for the Blue Devils as well.
But that's a good kind of jinx.
Absolutely.
Because you want to see him back on the field. And Jakari Edwards is back there along with Caleb Green. Johnson under center. 1st and 10 Blue Devils. Quick hitter up the middle. Jakari Edwards makes a couple miss, and he keeps those legs churning. Big gainer. Gets down close to the Caroline 30-yard line. They're going to mark it about the 32. That's a pickup of 14 yards and another Blue Devil 1st down.
That's a huge play for the Blue Devils there, getting inside the 30 with about 1:50 here in the first half. Blue Devils in striking distance here. See if they can open it up to a big play.
Got to exercise or maintain ball control and try to stay disciplined. Don't get the mental penalties. 1st and 10 from the 32. This is Edwards, makes a cut, goes upfield inside the 30. They're going to tackle him at just shy of the 25-yard line. Well, if you can pick up 5 yards a pop, you'll take that any time, won't you?
Absolutely. And Jakari Edwards with a heads-up play there. That ball was snapped. It doesn't look like it was at the right time. Doesn't look like Jeremiah Johnson was ready for that. And Jakari Edwards picked it up instead of putting the knee down and was able to pick up, it looks like 5.5, 6.
Yeah, and so heads-up play by Jakari. They marked the 6, actually picked up 6, as she said. Well, we have a timeout on the field, and our timeout sponsor is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial wellness of our members and the Culpeper community. UVACreditUnion.org. Well, we had an update on the Eastern View game, and one moment, folks, and I'll tell you all about it. Okay. Thanks to Rodney Stewart, we have an update of it's Eastern View 10-0, end of the first quarter, over visiting North Stafford.
Eastern View on their homecoming night tonight, like you said, against North Stafford. Always good to be playing well on homecoming night.
Sure is. All right, here it is now, 2nd down and 4 from the 26. Johnson, this time he's got time. Now he's throwing downfield. This one going to be picked off again. This is a pass that was just underthrown, and coming up with it for Caroline is Malik Johnson. Wow. And, you know, that really stalls the drive. The Blue Devils had it. They were moving the ball, Chris. They had it down to the Caroline 26-yard line, only to be picked off again.
They did, and it's right there for the Blue Devils, it seems. They're a play away. They're a yard away. I mean, it's so close for them right now. And, I mean, hey, you're down 8, hopefully down 8, still going into halftime. Looks like Caroline will have to go 99 to get into the end zone. Looks like they're marking them right there.
And, Chris, one of the things that seems to be working there for Jeremiah Johnson is that when he rolls out maybe to his right or drops back and here comes the pressure, he can set up like a screen or find someone like Riley Vineyard in the flat out there. That seems to be a play that might be there for them, but the long passes, he's thrown a couple, he's just underthrown and they've been picked off. All right, Caroline back on offense here, deep in their own territory. Here's the pitch to the running back. This is Vladimir Joasin. Penalty flag comes in on this tackle, made courtesy of Riley Vineyard. And Joasin got across the 25 out to about the 28.
See a
for
couple
pickup of about 23 yards.
See a couple Blue Devils clapping there. Looks like they might have overheard something. Maybe we're moving them back. And they are.
Well, they started, Caroline did, way back in their own territory at about the 2-yard line, and this holding brings it back, and they're going to mark it right there at the 5.
And Caroline even spread him out there just to run that outside zone. And, I mean, you had your running back running through the end zone a little bit of a risky play there for Caroline.
See the final minute ticking off the second quarter clock. You see the score. Ball at the 5-yard line. Plenty of time for Miles Holmes. There's that arm, airs it out. This one incomplete. And breaking up the play for Culpeper was number 8, Griffin Tanner. And Chris, I don't know how you saw it, but it looked to me like the receiver had a pretty good track on that ball. He looked like he was hauling it in when Griffin Tanner decided he was going to break it up. Good play for the Blue Devil defender there.
Yeah, Griffin Tanner broke that play up and was able to made good catch up there on the pass. It looked like he was beat and then was able to break up the play.
Second down and 6 from the 5-yard line. Miles Holmes in his end zone, stepping up to avoid the pressure. He's across the 10. Here come the defenders. They tackle him from behind, and he falls forward to about the 20-yard line. That'll be a first down, and they'll stop the clock here with 32.8 seconds to play. Miles Holmes can be very dangerous when he gets loose.
That's the first time we've seen Miles Holmes use his legs there. Got pressure. Both defensive ends got around the edge there and was able to sneak out and pick up the Caroline first down.
To the tune of 18 yards, as a matter of fact. So, as you pointed out, Chris, you know, the Blue Devils are right in it. They're like a play away or, you know, a play here or there, and the 2 interceptions have really hurt them.
Yeah, especially down there on that last drive. I mean, they were driving, had the momentum, and if you can score right before halftime there, especially with Caroline receiving the second half kick, don't want to let them double up here.
That's right, because with the coin toss, Caroline won it and deferred. Culpeper received the first kickoff, but we're going to start the third quarter later on, and Caroline will be receiving it. So, and that's what you were saying. If you could go in and get a score, knowing you're kicking off in the third quarter, the complexion of the game changes a little. But as it is, it's an 8-point lead, and 32.8 seconds. The Blue Devil defense, you know, has a chance here to hold them without scoring before this first half expires. Here's Holmes throwing near side. He got a receiver and then tackled immediately at the 25. That was hauled in by number 17, Blake Morris. And he's got the 1 touchdown catch so far tonight.
And good on Griffin Tanner again, playing tight man coverage there and was able to get the tackle inbounds for the Blue Devils.
And the clock running, 10 seconds and counting. Here comes some pressure. Caroline picks up the pressure. They throw, and it's incomplete. And Griffin Tanner again defending, and the intended receiver, Blake Morris. We've mentioned he's a dangerous one. He's proven it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to get Blake Morris in space there, get him down the sideline. Blue Devils looking to put everybody back here to stop the pass with 4.5 seconds left here in the first half.
Well, let's see some of these players deep include Garrett Damewood. You've got Griffin Tanner out here on the deep. We've got like 4 players back, really 2 deep safeties. On 3rd and 4, could be the last play of this first half. All right, here's Holmes, short pass. And this is caught. Number 17, Blake Morris again. Watch out. Morris breaking tackles. And he's going to run out of time, and they're actually going to bring him down. He still had quite a bit of real estate to go before he could make it to the end zone. That's what you want to do. You get a guy like Blake Morris an opportunity to handle the ball. That's how that first half is going to end. with our score, Caroline 14, Culpeper 6. The teams will head to the locker room for the intermission. We'll take a break, and we'll come back for the third quarter kickoff after these messages. You're watching Blue Devils football on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. UVA Health Culpeper Medical Center is here to care for you and your loved ones at our high-quality primary and specialty care locations right here in our community. Visit uvahealth.com for more information.
Welcome back to our broadcast where it is halftime, almost ready for the third quarter kickoff. Mark O'Connell, Chris Frazier, Johnny Krawchuk with you tonight from Caroline. Nicole Wooten back in the studio, the Culpeper Media Network, and you're looking at the Blue Devil football team right there. And they trail 14-6 as we start this, get ready to start this third quarter. Well, Chris, let's break down for the first half and some of your takeaways. Starting with Caroline, what did you see from them that you liked, and what worked and what didn't?
I think Caroline, with the ability to hit the big play, has been huge for them. I mean, we know seeing the Culpeper game or seeing the Culpeper Fauquier game, seeing how they've played a little bit, they're susceptible to that. But that passing game of Caroline's really been able to work for them. The touchdown down here on the short field to Morris really set them up to take the lead there. I think defensively, they're getting bailed out a little bit with some of the Culpeper penalties, and when they're able to get Culpeper in those second and longs, third and longs, that's been the key for the Caroline defense.
All right, and if you're Culpeper, and we talked about it, they've been a play here, a play there, where they were there. And it could be a different game right now, but just, the two interceptions certainly at the forefront of my thinking.
Absolutely, and I think especially your one down here on our left side right at the end of the half was huge. But the fact that they were able to stop Caroline from getting the big play, go into halftime down 8, get a stop hopefully right here, after halftime, and realize that there's still time. That's the thing. You see teams get down, and they try to be something they're not. They try to pass the ball 3 downs or run the ball when they're not supposed to. Sticking to their script, I think, is going to be key for Culpeper.
And you were talking about big plays. Culpeper had a big play with Garrett Danewood. That was brought back. That was on that reverse, and he went the distance, and they brought it back for the holding. But really the two players tonight for Culpeper that really stood out for me, and they were missing from the lineup recently. Riley Vineyard and Jakari Edwards stand out.
Riley Vineyard especially, and like we've talked about it a few times, but Riley Vineyard on the defense there is really setting that tone for those big stops and those the drive-changing plays that take you, instead of a 2nd and 3, we're getting a 2nd and 11, which, seems minuscule in the grand scheme of things, but he's able to make those yard-changing plays that are huge for the Blue Devils. And Jakari Edwards, as soon as he's able to get in space, I think it's going to be big. He'll break one if he can just get on the edge.
We mentioned Garrett Danewood, and what about Caleb Green?
Caleb Green, I think, is doing a great job. Every time he touches the ball, I feel like he can get if he gets forward, he's getting 5, 6, 7 yards. He's going to be another one where we talked about Johnson getting out to the Jeremiah Johnson getting out to the side, rolling out, and if he can start hitting Green on a couple of those, maybe using that big frame to get down the field.
Well, what about J.Q. Williams? We haven't mentioned him tonight.
Haven't seen J.Q. Williams. I don't know if haven't heard from him tonight.
Yeah.
But we
I was
have
going to maybe consult with one of the coaches and find out about J.Q. Williams. Is he playing? Williams. Injured, okay. That's why we haven't seen J.Q. Williams. We've seen Jakari Edwards predominantly in the backfield, Caleb Green, and then, of course, Garrett Damewood has had a few touches. But Culpeper will be kicking off to start this third quarter. And recap the first half, so a little bit. We saw that Culpeper scored first, missed a 2-point try. They led 6-0, and Caroline came back with 2 touchdowns, and the big pass play to Blake Morris was, unfortunately for the Blue Devils, from Caroline's perspective, it was a thing of beauty.
absolutely. I think if Culpeper can do a little deep dive into the playbook here and change some things up a little bit, kind of show them something they haven't seen yet, maybe we'll catch Caroline off guard.
Well, we've had a few friends weigh in and provide some scores. We have an update for the Eastern View game. Last we heard, Eastern View up over North Stafford at the half, 20-0.
Looks like we have offsides on the kickoff here.
Okay. And so I was just informed that J.Q. Williams has a concussion. And that means concussion protocol. They'll miss him tonight, but they did see the return the Blue Devils have of Riley Vineyard back in action, and he's really made his mark here tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, even taking a couple touches on offense there. Got them that big first down on the 2nd and long or 3rd and long, and provided a spark there for the Blue Devils before that last interception.
And then some other scores at the half. Louisa 11, Monticello 7. Orange over Western Albemarle 14-7. And we talked about the game of the week. Has to be King George and Cortland. The last score we had on that, it was at the half. King George up by 1 point, 7-6. All right, on the return at the 35. And out across the 40. Breaking tackle, still on his feet. Refusing to go down until he gets to midfield. Is Caroline's return specialist there, and that looks like number 4. Yeah, that is Javon Morris, and he's had a kickoff for a touchdown this season, and you look at that play, and you can see why.
Yeah, Javon Morris, I think he made first contact there on the 35, the Blue Devils did, and they just weren't able to bring him down for about 15 yards to set the Caroline team up here right at midfield.
Short field for these Cavaliers to work with as they start things here in the third quarter on offense. Miles Holmes is the quarterback under center. There's a whistle.
Substitution, it looks like, for the Blue Devils there.
Jakari Edwards going to the sideline. And coming in, Caleb Green in that outside linebacker position. Here's Green. He slowed up the running back long enough for his teammates to come up. That was Vladimir Joassen, the ball carrier. As we said, their primary ball carrier for Caroline is Joassen. They're going to give him 5 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 5.
Yeah, Joassen's had a few carries tonight. Looked like for the Blue Devils there, it was freshman Jossie Shiflett, who we haven't called tonight, playing that other linebacker spot opposite of Riley Vineyard, making a good tackle there.
So we've updated you on the scores that we have. Eastern View 20-0 at the half over North Stafford. King George up a point, 7-6 over Cortland at the half. Some of the biggest games on our radar, that is. Handoff again, Joassen bounces off his teammate and then powers his way inside the Blue Devil 40 down to the 39. Picked up of 6 yards.
That was Shiflett and Damewood again there on that tackle. Just seems that the Caroline Cavaliers are just getting ahead of the sticks there, making those 2nd, 3rd manageables, providing easy run plays there for them, pick up those first downs.
And deciding to go with the run game and to pound it with Joassen. And this is the ball, Joassen again, the ball carrier. And this time the Blue Devils wrap him up for no gain on the play. And making the tackle was number 3, Caleb Green.
And that's what the Blue Devils need to keep those 2nd downs longer than those 6, 7, 8 yards. and to really limit, the run game there for Caroline.
Well, this broadcast brought to you in part by Fountain Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. Fountain Sons, 825-3530. Second and 9 from the 37 of Culpeper goes Caroline. Holmes this time in the gun. Riley Vineyard showing pressure. Here he comes. And they're going to stuff this one. And that's big number 66 for Culpeper making the initial hit. And that is that is Cameron Dotson. Big play for the defender there.
Absolutely. You talked about it. You said Riley Vineyard showing pressure there, and it looked like that freed up Cameron Dotson to make that tackle for loss to set the Cavaliers up at the long third down.
Sure is. 3rd and 11. This is where the Blue Devil defense could thrive here. Miles Holmes, the Caroline quarterback, threw for over 300 yards last week. Vladimir Joason, the running back, on his right. Joason's going to block. Holmes is going to throw. Blake Morris is going to catch. And he's going to break a tackle, and he's going to go out of bounds just inside that 5-yard line. There he is again, doing some damage for Caroline. It's Blake Morris.
Yeah, Blake Morris there switched up the corners. Remember last at the end of the quarter, or into the half there, we had Griffin Tanner doing a good job on Morris. That time he was able to break away for a first down and more.
Right down at the 5-yard line, pick up 34 yards on the play. Joason, the ball carrier, and he powers his way down to the one. Took about 3 players to bring him down. Big number 74 in on the tackle for Culpeper, and I'll have to look him up again too. I need a little better light out here. That's Genoa Lane.
Genoa Lane, he's been out there on offense and defense. Has seen him a few times. But the Blue Devils defense backed up here against their own end zone. See if they can get a stop here early in the third quarter.
All right, 2nd down and goal from the 1-yard line. Caroline looking to extend its lead. Opening possession here this third quarter. Miles Holmes is the quarterback in the gun. Joason, they fake it to him. Holmes keeps it. And it looks like Holmes is in the end zone for the Caroline touchdown, and the Cavaliers go up 20-6 with 7:56 to play here in the third.
And we go back to that first touchdown that Caroline had. Same setup a little bit. No fake there on the option, but just a walk-in touchdown for Miles Holmes, it seems, on that first and last touchdown there.
No, we were talking about the horse we saw earlier at the halftime, and the horse is on that track running. So they're Cavaliers, and that's part of the pageantry, isn't it?
There we go, playing the fight song down there on the field. And we have another flag on the field.
Well, we had a copious amount of flags in that first half, didn't we?
Yes,
How would you like to be the person that gets to ride the horse and carry that Caroline flag, Chris?
Oh, for me, no. All power to them, but for me, no.
Well, you're not. You don't have the equestrian tendencies?
I do not.
I don't either. Isn't it safer to ride a motorcycle?
Seems like it.
Thank you,
Depends
John.
on who you ask.
It depends on who you ask. Yeah. Well, Caroline now set up to go for 2. Miles Holmes handing off. This is Joason. He's wrestled down by Lane, but he gets into the end zone anyway, so the 2-point try is successful. So now 22-6 in favor of the Caroline Cavaliers.
Yeah, that penalty there on the offsides costing the Blue Devils a shot there at just the extra point. Opted to go for 2 there to go up by 16 for the Cavaliers.
Opening drive. And Caroline started with good field position off that kickoff return.
Yeah, they did out there at midfield. A 50-yard drive to start the quarter. Saw that when the Caroline played Eastern View last week. They were down 10-7 at half, came out and scored on that opening possession. But Eastern View was able to take that lead back. We'll see if Culpeper can make some noise here in the third quarter.
All right, well, this broadcast brought to you in part by Battlefield, Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. That's Battlefield. Awaiting the Caroline kickoff. Here it is. They keep it short. Oh, this one fumbled. Let's see who's got. Caroline has recovered it. Wow, and let's check out the Blue Devil player who was trying to receive that was number 8. That's Griffin Tanner. Looked like he was running full steam ahead to haul it in, and then as he was hauling it in, he got hit. The ball was loose. Caroline recovered it. There is a penalty flag on the field.
Yeah, and you saw Caroline with that second kickoff here that we've seen go for that short kick. Got that one up in the air a little bit, but I don't think they can advance the ball once they recover as well. So that might be our flag here. Still a conversation there by the officials.
Okay, as they sort it out, we'll tell you this broadcast brought to you in part by Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. 317-1473.
When you're seeing the Blue Devil defense out here on the field as well, so looks like that, don't want to say onside kick, not an onside kick, but a little bit of a squib kick there is going to stand. Yet it looks like we have signed for targeting in a high school game.
Oh, wow. Is it targeting?
That's what was just announced in the sign that was given, but I didn't know targeting had made its way down to the high school game.
Well, Caroline, because it recovered the kickoff, keeps possession. Great field position again. This team on top by 16 points. Watch out. There's the ball carrier. Let's see if it's Vladimir Jellison. Or if they put some, no, it is Jellison. Straight ahead, he went for a pickup of 7 yards.
Riley Vineyard there again, stopping the big break there. Looked like he had room in front of him if it wasn't for that tackle.
Yeah, second down and about 4 or 3. Call it 3. Back to Joe. Well, this is a little play action, and this one. He had me fooled there for a second. A little play action, then he threw it downfield, and the receiver, intended receiver, Malik Johnson, and then coming over and making a defensive play for the Blue Devils to break it up. We have another penalty flag down and to sort through here.
We did, and that was a good pass break up there by Dame Wood, and it looked like, I'm not sure if I'm catching the right number here, 22 Keyshawn Tyler, it looked like. But either way, a great pass up there by the Blue Devils. And it looks like we have another penalty on Caroline here, ineligible downfield.
Yeah, ineligible receiver downfield, right. Mark it now to Caroline 48, where it's going to be third down and about 8 yards to go. Or second down, rather. 2nd and 8.
Second and 8 here, and it looks like Caroline's spreading things out a little bit. We saw that tall tight end there running across the formation. See if he's in play here for Caroline as they set up second down.
All right, on 2nd and 8. Miles Holmes in the gun. Blue Devils showing pressure. I'm going to back off a little. Riley Vineyard now. Showing pressure. He backs off. Here comes pressure. Miles Holmes gets away from the first defender. He's on his feet, but he does not get away from Riley Vineyard, who tackles him in the open field. They had a shot at him for the big loss, and he was able to get away.
They did. Jaden Carter lined him up there. It looks like we have another flag there on the Blue Devil sideline.
Well, this is flags galore. And while they sort this one out, we'll say this broadcast brought to you in part by Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. 317-1473. Now they're waving the flag off.
Yeah, and usually when you see one after the play like that, not promising for the team making the tackle. So good news for the Blue Devils there. No extracurriculars after the play.
Okay, now 3rd and 10 for the Cavaliers at their own 46. And you got to figure that the Blue Devil defense needs to stop here. This team is going to get back into the game. You'll afford to give up any more points without scoring yourselves, can you?
Yeah, and Caroline's done a good job of chewing some clock here a little bit, kind of not normal to what they normally do.
Well, they pick up the pressure, and the blitz does Caroline's offensive front, but then we have an incomplete pass, and now a 4th down, and we may see Caroline's punter for the first time tonight.
And it looks like we will. Punt team coming out on the field. That's a big stop for the Blue Devils.
Really is. And going back for the Blue Devils, Jakari Edwards and Garrett Danewood.
Yeah, we've seen more and more teams start to send both of those guys, 2 guys back on the punt. Kind of have their safe guy there, which looks like to be Caleb Green. Make sure with no fakes or anything like that. And 2 guys there to secure a return for the Blue Devils.
Punter standing inside his own 35. Going to be a fake. Here's the pitch. Midfield. Forced out of bounds, shy of a first down. Good play by the Blue Devils. And it looks like that was Caleb Green.
Yes,
getting it done for the Blue Devils there. They tried the fake, and they come up about 4 yards short, and Culpeper will take over on offense. Outstanding field position near midfield.
Absolutely, and Caleb Green playing that middle linebacker spy position there on the punt coverage, was able to sneak that out, make a great tackle there on the sideline because he only got it by about 4 yards.
Right.
It was a close one, but that's huge for the Blue Devils, getting it at midfield there. We saw it with Caroline on the first possession. Let's see if they can cash in here for a touchdown.
You got it. So we're looking at the Blue Devil offense for the first time here in the 3rd quarter. And they take over at midfield. Am I right? Is this their first appearance in the 3rd quarter?
It is. It is.
Okay.
Had the fumble on the kickoff there.
Right, exactly. Hard to believe that we're midway through it. 22-6, you can see the score there. This is going to be a penalty against Caroline, and what in the world happened there?
Looked like we missed that one.
Well, the 2 teams were lined up to start the play from the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden they penalized Caroline, and now from the 50, this is a 15-yard penalty. The ball now at the Caroline 35. That must have been an unsportsmanlike call. Here's Johnson under center, wires the pressure. He gets rid of it quickly. Garrett Danewood out in the flat. And little Danewood makes the most of it. He got inside the 30.
And you almost wonder if the play like that was kind of a makeshift there by Jeremiah Johnson, because he saw the pressure coming, kind of took a look over there at Danewood and was able to flip it out quick for a 7-yard pickup.
Right, brings up the 2nd and 3, and it seems like the key for Johnson is going to have to, most of the time, get rid of the ball very quickly. You see that pressure coming. All right, here he is under center on 2nd and 3. Here's the pitch. This is Jakari Edwards. He's got the edge, makes a cut, makes one player miss. He's headed to the end zone, but there is a penalty flag down, it looks like. Or did you see one?
Yeah, right down there on the, looks like to be near the 20-yard line.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Talk about negating what looks like looks like it's going to negate what was a very good-looking touchdown run.
And that's another one. Jakari Edwards gets the edge, and it's hard to see over there whether the block cleared out the guy about to make the tackle, but it's another just shot in the foot for the Blue Devils there.
Those dreaded holding calls. You hate to see it, but it really does sting an offense when you get called for holding.
It does.
Such
Jakari
critical
Edwards.
situations.
Jakari Edwards made a great cut there and was able to do it, setting up that still 2nd and short with the holding downfield. Hopefully the Blue Devils can get ahead here.
Yeah, looking at 2nd and 3 now from the 28-yard line of Caroline. Jeremiah Johnson, your quarterback, operating under center. Jakari Edwards behind him. Here's the pitch to Edwards. Here's a nice cut. This will Almost looks like a replay, except they stop him down at about the 20, it looks like. That'll be enough for a Blue Devil first down.
That did look like the same setup and same toss play to the right there.
Yeah.
And either way, Jakari Edwards again, great cut, cuts it back inside, picks up the first down, and a little more for the Blue Devils as they get closer and closer to the red zone here.
All right, this broadcast brought to you in part by UVA Health, Culpeper Medical Center. It's here to care for you and your loved ones at our quality primary and specialty care locations right here in our community. Learn more at uvahealth.com. Clock ticking, you can see it, 4:50. 22-6 Caroline. Blue Devils, a new set of downs. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the Cavalier 20. Here come the Cavaliers showing pressure. Quick handoff, straight ahead. Jakari Edwards makes the cut. He's into the end zone from 20 yards out.
That's awesome. Great Blue Devil touchdown there. Let's go to a replay to check that out.
Well, you know what? I almost hesitated to say it. Go ahead, Chris, on the replay.
We have Jeremiah Johnson checking with the line there. Looks like he's calling another play at the line. Hands off to Jakari Edwards, who skips past the defensive tackle, makes a great cut there on the 5-yard line, and scoots into the end zone for a Blue Devil 6.
And you know what? The other part of that is there was no laundry on the field.
Gotta have it.
They didn't bring it back. 22-12, our score. 4:33 to play. Blue Devils will line up to go for 2. If they can get it, they'll make it an 8-point deficit. All right, Johnson under center. Edwards behind him. It's a pitch to Edwards again. Little second effort there. Let's see if he broke the play, and he does.
He does. Great job by Jakari Edwards there on the second effort, getting into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
So a moment ago, he gets a 20-yard touchdown run, and they go to it. They go to him again for the 2-point try, and he delivers. But it wasn't easy getting there from 2 yards out.
After he had a touchdown called back.
Yeah.
Jakari Edwards just destined to score that touchdown there for the Blue Devils.
Would not be denied. Yeah. All right. 22-14 our score. Oh, we've got a football game here at Caroline High School. And this broadcast brought to you in part by CFC Farm and Home Center, the service, knowledge, and products you need for your home, your farm, your pets, livestock, and equine since 1932. And K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371.
You got to wonder here, seeing the kickoff. Last time we saw it in the Fauquier game, the Blue Devils scored a good touchdown, came out, onside kick, and recovered it, or if Saul Acevedo is going to boot this one deep for the Devils.
Well, finding out now. They keep it on the ground. And Caroline, one of the up players there, does a nice job of fielding that one. Do you have number 24 on your roster for Caroline?
I do not.
You do not.
That was our one earlier, our phantom player of the game.
Our phantom player.
Saul Acevedo there on the kick with a good onside kick. Just got that bounce right in front of that Caroline player, number 24, and he was able to handle it on the ricochet, but still in a good spot here for the Blue Devils.
Good hands play by the Caroline special teams player. And the Cavaliers go back on offense. Excellent field position. They'll start this one on their own 46. You can see the score and the clock. Time remaining here in this third quarter. Miles Holmes brings his offensive teammates back to the line of scrimmage. Vladimir Joasin, the running back, alongside him. Joasin gets the call off right tackle and making a nice solo tackle that time for Culpeper, and that was a critical one. That was Caleb Green. I think if Green doesn't make that tackle, Joasin may have been off for the races. Yeah,
Joasin had the edge there, and Caleb Green makes a fantastic tackle to limit the gain there to just 1.
Key tackle that time by Green, as we mentioned, and now we have 2nd and 9 coming up here. You can see the clock and the score. This is a competitive game.
And we've seen the pressure that Riley Vineyard makes there. When he steps up there, it's freeing up somebody on the edge to make those plays on in the run game.
Well, the Blue Devils have really benefited from seeing him return to this lineup tonight. Here's the pitch. This is Joasin to the outside. He's got running room, and they tackle him after he picks up the first down. Blue Devil territory at the 40. This broadcast brought to you in part by K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. And did you know that nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame? Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving respectful local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. Miles Holmes, the quarterback, he's got time, and he slings it near side too far and out of the reach of the intended receiver there, number 4. That's Javon Morris. Javon Morris is another gifted player, but he's really done some damage on kickoff returns for this Caroline football team this season.
He has. He was the one that put them right up there at midfield right after halftime. And Culpeper's number 50, Tyreek Smith, providing some pressure on that play so that Holmes had to get it over his outstretched hand there to cause the pass to go high.
All right, here it is. 2nd down and 10. Cavaliers at the Blue Devils' 39-yard line. Miles Holmes this time with the spread and an empty backfield. That looks like Vineyard coming. They pick him up. They swing it near side. Got a receiver tackled near the 30-yard line, just about a yard shy of a first down, it looks like. That was Vladimir Joasen out of the backfield.
Yeah, Justin Elkins making a great tackle there to keep him at 2nd and short. Oh, they're going to call it nope.
No, I think you're right, Chris.
Oh, there he goes. Waves him on now.
He did get enough. Had to get to the 29. That's exactly where he got.
But the Blue Devils here still applying pressure on defense. You see Vineyard, Shiflett, those linebacker crew, even Jakari Edwards out there running on the edge. He's been all over the place tonight as well. After scoring that touchdown there, he's providing pressure on defense.
Just an example. You're trying to keep your best athletes on the field, you know? And that's why you got Edwards playing both sides of the football.
Got another flag on the field here, and it's against the Blue Devils.
Offsides. They'll push it down to the 24. Caroline looking to answer the Blue Devils' recent scoring drive. From the 24, Joas in the ball carrier. They trip him up before he can get a full head of steam. Riley Vineyard, giving credit for the tackle there, right at the line of scrimmage.
And we brought his name up before, but Tyreek Smith there on that left end has been getting pressure. He's going off the field now, but he's been getting pressure on those early downs. It looks like Cameron Dodson called his name earlier as well, coming in for a little relief there on that left end.
Oh, we got movement, we got pressure, we got contact. May cost the Blue Devils 5 yards. As they sort this one out, we'll tell you that we are live, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556.
And that penalty is going to give the Cavaliers another first down here inside the red zone.
Yeah, they have it down at the 19, Chris. Looking to answer Culpeper's scoring drive. Miles Holmes. Another whistle and yet another flag. If you were keeping stats tonight on penalty yardage assessment and numbers or frequency, it wouldn't look very impressive.
It would not. It's the little things. It's the offsides, the false starts, the holdings.
Another
offsides here.
Is that back-to-back offsides?
It is.
Against the Blue Devils. You give them 5 yards a pop there, it'll move it down to the 14.
And you almost wonder if somebody lined up offsides there, because right at the snap of the ball, the flag came out.
All right, here's the 1st and 5 Cavaliers at the Blue Devil 14. Final minute and a half kicking off here in this third quarter at Caroline High School. Miles Holmes, play action. He's got time. He's going to run it. And they're going to sling him down just inside that 10-yard line. Line of scrimmage with the 14. I believe he got to about the 8. And we'll check the spot.
And props to the Blue Devil defense there. Miles Holmes had a little 2-on-1 there on the left side, whether he could have dumped it over, but the corner there, and I think that was Griffin Tanner, made a great play, stepping up and causing Holmes to get to the middle of the field where Griffin had help from the other Blue Devil defenders.
Key play made by that defender, Griffin Tanner, that time, because Holmes could have gotten loose. Instead, ball at the 8-yard line. But four opportunities here for the Caroline Cavaliers. They won't need them as Vladimir Joasin goes in from 8 yards out. Touchdown, Caroline. And they're back on top now by 14 points, 28-14, with 30 seconds remaining here in this third.
And we'll take a look at Joasin's touchdown there on our instant replay. We're out in the gun. Miles Holmes gives the handoff to Joasin, goes around the left side and barrels in for a Cavalier 6.
So the Cavaliers did answer, Chris. And the point after clears the crossbar. It's good. 29-14 in favor of the Cavaliers.
And the Blue Devils find themselves in a two-score hole here going into the fourth quarter. And it's still their game, still can run their game here. We saw the quick strike ability in the third quarter there when they were able to get down near the red zone. See if Caleb Green and company can get a quick score here in the fourth quarter.
So the onside kicks have favored Caroline. The penalties have really hurt the Blue Devils. If we could just clean those up, what might the score be here right now? I mean, that's a rhetorical question, of course, but those things really hurt you and make a difference in a football game.
Absolutely, especially when you're giving them extra opportunities. And if you're the Blue Devils here, you have to expect the onside kick again.
Right.
So you're telling those guys on the front line, get it and fall on it. Don't try to advance it. Just get it and fall on it.
So this is where you want your good hands people up front. But I tell you what, the way Caroline's kicking off, they really put themselves in a position to get some of these speedy players set up to as good a chance to recover the ball as the receiving team.
Yeah, they're buying themselves some extra possessions, which is huge in a game like this. And that's our difference here is the 2 touchdowns that they've been able to take away on those extra possessions on kickoffs.
Well, this time, straight away is the kick, and there's no one back there, but you're going to have to get on this football because it's live. And picking it up is Garrett Damewood. He picked it up at about the 5-yard line, returned it to the 15 for a 10-yard return. And don't say there's another penalty flag down. Say it isn't so.
There is another one. Looked like after the play there, you're almost thinking maybe a late hit on Damewood, which would give the Blue Devils a little bit more breathing room. But again, the Blue Devils, they're expecting that onside kick. Nobody was back. Props to Damewood for running back there and able to turn a little something into nothing into something there.
Second time the referee waves the flag off. So they're not going to be the beneficiaries of a 15-yard penalty. Instead, looks like the Blue Devils will be starting deep in their own territory at about the 15.
And Jeremiah Johnson and crew needs to get downfield, not quickly, but downfield in a bit of a hurry here. Need to limit the penalties, as we've said, and try and get those chunk plays to put themselves in a good position.
Yeah, and what it comes down to mathematically as we approach that fourth and final quarter is the Blue Devils have to have 2 scores, and the defense can't really give up anymore if they really want to try to win this football game here tonight.
Yeah, you've got to play a lights-out fourth quarter, almost like you did in the first quarter. You took up that time of possession. You ended up with a score, played the Blue Devil football game with the way that Coach Eric Sherry is having them play. Just chewing that clock and running the ball, but going to have to score quick here and then maybe able to run more of that traditional offense in the fourth quarter.
Speaking of the clock, the third quarter clock has expired. With our score, Cavaliers 29, Blue Devils 14. We'll take a break and come back for the fourth quarter right after this. Keep it right here. You're watching Blue Devils football on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. UVA Health Culpeper Medical Center is here to care for you and your loved ones. Our high-quality primary and specialty care locations right here in our community. Visit uvahealth.com for more information.
All right, welcome back to our broadcast. End of the fourth quarter. A moment ago, an incomplete pass on first down makes it, or on second down rather, makes it 3rd and 9 for the Blue Devils from the 17-yard line. You can see there that we just started the fourth. Caroline on top by 15 points, 29-14, and the Blue Devils start this fourth quarter deep in their own territory. They have it 3rd and 9. Here's the whistle. Well, we've had just a copious amount of penalty flags down tonight. Penalty yardage, big yard holding penalties against the Blue Devils and that sort of thing. Well, we have a timeout on the field. We'll tell you that our timeout sponsor is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial wellness of our members and the Culpeper community. Visit them at uvacreditunion.org. All right, and we mentioned that we are live, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. All right, after the timeout here, Blue Devils, 3rd and 9 from the 29. Jeremiah Johnson under center. Play action, rolls to his left, throws, got a receiver out there, and he overthrew him. Jakari Edwards, that would have been a first down for the Blue Devils.
And that's a tough play to make for Jeremiah Johnson, running to his left, throwing back across his body, but he had Jakari out there. Looks like the Blue Devils will punt it away here on 4th down.
I really do like the idea of these rollouts by Johnson and throwing the short pass to get someone like Jakari Edwards or Riley Vineyard opening the flat out there and let them go to work.
Yeah, and they've had the space for it. It just seems they're hitting them every so often, but if we can get another Blue Devil possession here in the mid-4th quarter, maybe we'll see a little bit more rollout there for Jeremiah Johnson and crew.
We're not seeing Marcus Ahikam line up as the punter here, Chris.
You're right. Looks like we have our kicker, Acevedo.
Blue Devils need a good punt from him. Here's his kick. This looks rugby style. This one takes the Blue Devil roll, but they're going to mark it dead at the 46. So Caroline once again with excellent field position as the Cavalier offense comes back onto the field, leading 29-14 here in this opening minute of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we saw Ahikam there a little bit on defense, and it looks like he's out there now. So wondering maybe if
Ahikam, you got it.
Just another look there on the punt game for Saul Acevedo. Got a good Blue Devil bounce. I want to talk
again about those nominations, Chris. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving respectful local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. All right, we are in the opening minute of this fourth quarter. Caroline back on offense. That means Miles Holmes, and that also means typically Vladimir Joasin.
Like
we're looking at a delay of game.
We have not. And it's a Caroline penalty, too. Haven't had a Caroline penalty on their offensive possession in a while, so they'll back it up on first down.
They haven't been nearly as culpable tonight as has Culpeper with those penalties.
They have not, especially the pre-snap penalties that'll really get you with the false starts, the delays of game, jumping off sides, things like that really kill a drive.
Well, they've had several holding penalties that have hurt them, no doubt. But it's still anybody's football game. It's just that the defense can ill afford to give up any more points if Culpeper hopes to come back and win this one. Here's the pressure. And the pressure ran past the ball carrier. We watched them slide by, and he went forward. And that was Vladimir Joe. Nope, let's see. That is Javon Morris, rather, the ball carrier. Spelling Vladimir Jowison at this point in the game.
Yeah, Jowison getting a break there. Morris picking up most of that, or all that penalty yardage back, plus some.
Right.
Putting Caroline here at a second, and it looks like 8.
Right. Here's Holmes in the gun on 2nd and 8. Long snap count. Play action. Gets away from one defender, being pressured. Got away from the second, and he won't get away from Riley Vineyard, who wraps him up. Didn't take him to the ground, but he was able to stop him. And that's where the whistle comes in to stop the forward progress.
Yeah, a couple Blue Devils there on the play, being able to make Holmes run around a little bit, but Riley Vineyard able to wrap him up and get a stop. I think we have a down Cavalier downfield.
Yeah, we sure do. Way down in that Blue Devils secondary. But, you know, Riley Vineyard, if you watch him a moment ago, he made the play, and then he made a really nice gesture of sportsmanship. I don't know if you saw that or not.
He did, yeah, giving him a little pat there. Just can't say enough about Riley Vineyard out there on the field, but also a very good kid.
And that over there, the injured player, I believe that looked like probably a cramp, the way they were stretching that leg.
Looking like an end of the game.
And we'll tell you, as we get a chance here, that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Found & Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. Found & Sons at 825-3530. Also, Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. That's Battlefield. And I also want to mention our thanks to Nicole Wooten back in the studio, the Culpeper Media Network, and express congratulations to my broadcasting partner tonight, Chris Frazier and his family, for the birth of the newborn girl.
We did, yep, last week on the 20th.
September 20th. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, how many children do you have now?
2.
2.
Yep,
So
2 little girls.
2 girls?
Yes, sir. It's a good time. It's a good time at our house. Lots of just new schedules, new things going on, but we're all having a good time and everybody's feeling good.
It's all pretty special, and you really have to enjoy it, savor the moments. No doubt about it. All right, remind me. We're in a situation here where Culpeper's defense has an opportunity to get a stop and get the ball back to their offensive teammates, Chris, if they can pull it through here.
Absolutely. Got them at 3rd and long here. Hopefully they can keep it in front of the sticks and get another chance in the front half of this 4th quarter.
Well, Miles Holmes, the Cavalier quarterback, in the gun, empty backfield this time. They spread it out, does the offense. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, and this one draws a penalty flag before we can get going. And already the official is saying too much time, delay a game. It cost the Cavaliers 5 yards, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 20.
Yeah, we talked about it again, those pre-snap penalties that are kind of getting at both teams here, but backs up the Cavaliers one more time, and an even longer, 3rd and 20, looks like 3rd and a little bit longer than that on the field, but hopefully the Devils can get a stop here.
3rd and 20. This is as good a position maybe as your defense is going to be in. tonight. We got a 3rd and 20. Excellent chance for a stop. Here comes some pressure. Holmes throws near side to his receiver, Malik Johnson. Johnson breaks one tackle, makes a cut. Watch out. And he's going to pick up with that second and third effort a Caroline first down. They had him, and it just couldn't wrap him up and stop him.
Yeah, they had two would-be tacklers out here on the boundary and just weren't able to get him until Riley Vineyard was able to knock him out of bounds right around the 40, like you said.
And we were just talking about that, Chris. Your defense had 3rd and 20. You got to make that stop.
Yeah, he had blockers out in front, but two would-be tacklers there for the Blue Devils. Got to make that stop and give your offense a chance to bring you back closer.
Instead, it's a new set of downs for Caroline, and Miles Holmes and this Caroline team knows that the clock could become its ally real quickly here under these circumstances. Here's the pitch. This is going to Javon Morris. Another penalty comes down as Morris breaks through the pack. Still on his feet. Here is Morris headed to the end zone. Will they catch him? No, they don't. But let's see if they're going to bring this one back.
It looks like we're going to have right up here, I don't know who he blocked it, but he pushed one of the Cavalier defenders. I don't know if they're going to call it a hold or a block in the back, but
it's going to be a holding. You called it. The penalty flags, 2 of them down, right in the area where you would expect to see a holding penalty. And so Javon Morris is, I'll say, electrifying and determined run to the end zone, negated by yet another penalty, although Caroline hasn't been as plagued with penalties tonight as Culpeper has. That's probably going to be a crucial one there. That would have been probably, without that penalty, probably would have sealed the deal for Caroline tonight.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one to come back from, but it was clear as day right there in front of the referee, and we were able to catch it as well. But hold, pushing the back, whatever you want to call it, backs up Caroline here to a long first down.
Well, they have the ball now at their own 45, and they have to get to the Culpeper 32 for a first down. Clock has stopped. You can see 8:39 to play here in this fourth quarter. Well, I'll tell you, Caroline has proven they can get a bunch of yards on a 3rd and long situation, though, can't they?
They can. When they get those blockers out in front and those athletes out on the corner there, it's tough to stop for the Blue Devils. But they're still bringing pressure to Miles Holmes there. He's got to get the ball out quick if he wants to pick up any more of that penalty yardage.
All right, now the clock resumes as Holmes on 1st and 24. Play action, throws it near side receiver, and that's caught by Malik Johnson. And the Blue Devils do a nice job of limiting him to a short gain. The line of scrimmage was the 45. They mark it right at the 46. So 1 yard, but the clock is running. And that really has, the clock, I think now is an ally to this Caroline football team.
Yeah, absolutely. We're to a point now in the fourth quarter, down two scores and a couple 2-point conversions thrown in there, that the Blue Devils are going to have to open things up a little bit on offense when they get it back.
Well, they're going to lament giving up that 3rd and 20 that they did, because that was probably crucial. Play action, throw, this one nearly picked off. The pass was overthrown to the intended receiver, Malik Johnson, and then nearly coming up with it on the interception was Culpeper's Justin Elkins.
Yeah, it would have been Elkins' second interception of the night, but kind of got on him a little quick there, thought the receiver was going to make the catch, and he was ready to make the tackle, and then got his hands up quick to possibly make that interception. But another 3rd and long here for the Cavaliers.
Well, it's almost deja vu, Chris. It's not 3rd and 20, it's 3rd and 23, and so this is an opportunity once more for this Blue Devil defense to snap up, make the stop, and get the ball back to their teammates.
And we've seen outside of that first and second quarter, the short passes here for Caroline, so we've got to limit those.
All right, here it is, 3rd and long. Here's Holmes. Plenty of time, throwing over the middle, got a receiver, caught inside the 40 and then dropped. So incomplete pass. Thought he had it there, but he lost it.
That would have been a tough call there for Caroline, because they're sitting there right around the 38, made that maybe a 4th and 6, 4th and 7.
Yeah, they could have easily gone for that. Malik Johnson, the intended receiver. Now it's 4th and 23. If ever you're going to get a stop, this would be the time to do it.
Absolutely. Punt team coming out for Caroline. And they, last time, don't think they'll do it here, again, but that fake punt on their lone punt of the night before that the Blue Devils thwarted to get a turnover.
Here's the snap, the punt from about the 38. Garrett Damewood gets under it, gets a block from Jakari Edwards. Here's yet another penalty flag coming down as Damewood returns it out to about the 40-yard line. What'd you see on that as far as the penalty?
Looked like another block in the back or holding, however they're going to call it, but another unneeded interference there for the Blue Devils. Back them up, it looks like probably to their own, if the flag is correct on the spot, maybe their own 15.
Well, this broadcast brought to you in part by Cash Imprints, from shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. 317-1473. And UVA Health Culpeper Medical Center is here to care for you and your loved ones at our quality primary and specialty care locations right here in our community. Learn more at uvahealth.com. All right, Culpeper, after that penalty, poor field position starting at its own 15. Johnson going to throw downfield. He had a receiver wide open out there, and that was number 26, Blake Burke. First time we called his name tonight, and how did he get so open?
Jeremiah Johnson threw a little hitch there right at the beginning of that route, and the corner sat on it, and he had Burke dead to rights there in the middle of the field and just overthrew him.
And you saw Burke's reaction to that. He's going, how in the world, hitting the helmet. Did you miss me? But where might that have gone? We'll never know. 2nd and 10 now from the 15. All right, here's Johnson again. Under center. 2nd and 10. Going to keep it. Turns upfield. Not much doing. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So that didn't work well for the Blue Devils. Now they'll be looking at a 3rd and 10 from the 15.
No, and all that defensive line for Caroline was able to get pressure on Johnson there, and it looked like he was going to try for that rollout, which they've been successful with tonight. But some good moves there by Jeremiah Johnson to limit the lost yardage there. And it looked like he actually picked one up for a 3rd and 9.
Mm-hmm. Well, to say it's critical would be an understatement. You're down by 2 scores. You're approaching the midway mark of this 4th and final segment. If you don't score now, it's going to be probably about over. They go to Edwards on the outside. He's got some running room and a 1st down all the way out to the 35-yard line. A pickup of 20 yards on the play. He needed 9, you got 20.
And another great play there by Jakari Edwards, getting that edge and getting around for a 1st down. No flags on the play that time, which I know Jakari Edwards is probably very happy to see, as well as the Blue Devil offense as they keep this going.
Well, not only are they happy to see it, we're sort of happy to broadcast there was not another penalty flag down, because there certainly has been their share tonight. And out to the 34 it is, 1st and 10. Blue Devils got to be aware of that clock. They're down by 2 scores. Here's Johnson. Here comes the pressure. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. And this pass was intended for Brendan Stover. And he was another player who was out of the lineup a week or so ago, and he's back suited up. Brendan Stover.
Yeah, Brendan Stover, sophomore receiver there. Haven't seen a lot of him tonight. He's run a couple routes, been out there on special teams, but again, the defensive line for Caroline just getting back there and rushing the process there of Jeremiah Johnson.
All right, 2nd and 10. Blue Devils now from their 34. Caroline shows pressure, backs up. Here's Johnson. This time he's got some time. He throws it out there, incomplete. Great coverage. I don't think should be any call there. I didn't see anything, did you?
Yeah, got a flag down there. It looks like defensive pass interference.
Did they call it? The pass was intended for number 15, Dalton Butler. But you're right, there is the flag. let's watch as they mark this one off, which they're about to do here. We'll say this broadcast is brought to you in part by CFC Farm and Home Center, the service, knowledge, and products you need for your farm, home, pets, livestock, and equine since 1932. All right. Penalty moves the ball out to the 48-yard line. That's a net of 14 yards. Another inside reverse. Garrett Damewood looking for a block. He's got one, makes a nice cut, and then making what might have been a touchdown-saving tackle was Malik Johnson. But Damewood in the mix and showing that he can make the most of his opportunities.
He did. Malik Johnson makes a touchdown-saving tackle there. That's that inside reverse. They ran it third time. No flags on this one to take the touchdown away, but just a shoestring tackle there to save a touchdown for the Cavaliers.
Picked up 15 yards, did Damewood. A new set of downs for the Blue Devils. They have it at the Cavalier 33. Handoff. Well, this is Edwards straight ahead. Inside the 30 to the 29. Pick up a 4. 2nd and 6 coming up. This broadcast brought to you in part by K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371. All right, this is Brendan Stover, the ball carrier. And he gets unable to get untracked as Tyre Williams makes a nice solo tackle in the backfield.
And credit to the Blue Devil offense here, mixing in that pass a little more. Obviously, with the clock situation, you have to. But they've been successful kind of adding that more in and running that set with the triple option and all of that. It's tough to make those pass plays work, but they're seeming to kind of come into their own a little bit in the pass game tonight.
All right, 3rd and 8. Blue Devils. Johnson. This time rolls to his right. Looks downfield. Throwing. Receiver. Caught. It is Dalton Butler for the Blue Devils. Dalton Butler on the reception. Did he get enough for a first down? He did.
Yeah, Dalton Butler again making a big play. Drew the penalty down here on that 3rd down a few plays ago and making the catch for the first down this time. And was able to get out of bounds, which is huge with the clock under that 4.5-minute mark.
Ball down at the 18, picked up 13 yards and a first down. Like you said, now the clock resumes. Got to score quick. They got to do it twice. Johnson, here's the pitch. This is Jakari Edwards looking for some running room. Breaks one tackle. And then Edwards bottled up shy of the 10-yard line. So he got inside the 15 down to the 13. It's a pickup of 5 yards on the play. But the clock is running, and that's crucial.
And the Blue Devils here are able to use their coaching staff there on the offensive staff, able to call the play from the sideline there so they can get it in quick.
2nd down and 4. Here's Johnson throwing in the backfield to Garrett Damewood. Broke a tackle and then went forward for a first down. Really got impressed with Damewood here tonight. Is he the player who's shaken up?
He is, but like you said, Damewood has been all over the place tonight, and he's shifty, he's quick, and he's able to kind of bring the spark to this Blue Devil offense, which it seems like they've needed. But inside right at about the 5-yard line, inside the 5 here, might be Caleb Green and Jakari Edwards' time.
Well, there's a timeout on the field with the injured player, and I'd like to tell you that nominations are being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving and respectful of local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. And of course, I mentioned that we are live, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. All right, getting ready to return to the action here. As you can see, 3:26 to go, fourth quarter. Blue Devils have it at the Cavalier 5. It's 1st and 5 there. 1st and goal from the 5. Johnson, the pitch, Jakari Edwards. Edwards going to be able to walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Blue Devils from 5 yards out, and it's a 9-point game.
Johnson to Jakari Williams there for the Blue Devil touchdown. We'll take a look at that with instant replay. Blue Devils line up with Jakari Edwards and Brendan Stover in the backfield. Pitch out to the left, and Jakari Edwards walks it in for another Blue Devil score.
3:21 to play, and they'll line up for the conventional point after. And Jeremiah Johnson is the holder. Did you mention Acevedo is taking it? Oh, well, here's a bad snap. Johnson's got to pick it up, and he's going to be sacked. So, point after fails. They are down by 9. That means they're still down by 2 scores.
And that's tough because when you're in a situation where you're down by 15 like that, you have to go for the extra point first. Because if you don't get it, you're down by 2 scores there, and it's almost.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Chris, because for the viewing audience, if they were wondering why wouldn't you go for 2 at this point, you do it later, right? You have to get the 1 now.
And I mean, it's one of those where everybody does it a little different, it seems, but it seems like the majority, you take your extra point first, and then you know exactly what you got to get if you get the ball back there at the end.
Exactly. But now, because of the bad snap, even though the Blue Devils scored the touchdown, they still need 2 scores to win this one. And the bad news is Caroline's offense will be coming on the field momentarily. They've already shown you their big play capability, and they can be down looking at 3rd and 20 and still convert.
They can. It all starts with this kick here for the Blue Devils. If they can get themselves an onside kick, I know Coach Zakowski down there and the special teams will have something drawn up for them here that'll be a little bit different.
So Saul Acevedo kicking off for the Blue Devils. Here's the onside kick. Got to go 10 yards. We have a penalty. I guess, is this going to be an offsides against the Blue Devil kicking team?
Looks like it is. That flag came out right on the kick, and it was a beautiful onside kick.
Yeah.
Had the bounce going and everything. Oh, that's a tough one.
But they have to go for it here, don't they? I mean, as far as the onside.
They do, and that's been a point of emphasis this year in high school, college, and you've seen it in the NFL a little bit too in some of these games where you've seen the offsides on the kicks, which has just been something that, like I said, it's been a point of emphasis for all levels of football where they're really watching those guys jumping across to get a jump on the, especially on the onside kicks and squibs there.
And take a look at who's on this kickoff team. You got Riley Vineyard, Griffin Tanner. You've got number 44, Alexander Rivas. 26 is Blake Burke. You mentioned Brendan Stover. Number 11, Logan Allen. Some of the players they hope can get really close to that football. Here's the onside kick again. This one is loose. This one's free. Blue Devils come up with it. That's Jakari Edwards. If he's in bounds, that's a Blue Devil recovery. And you just mentioned how good looking that onside kick was, and he did it a second time.
He did it a second time. And we need to see an instant replay on that one with a beautiful onside kick by freshman Saul Acevedo. Lines up with the box players there to his back, kicks a beautiful onside kick, takes a skip, goes past the Caroline hands team, and Jakari Edwards jumps on it for a Blue Devil possession.
And it was Jakari Edwards. We were just naming some of the players that were on the field on that kickoff team, and it was on that left side where Jakari Edwards was, and that's where the ball made its destination. And Edwards able to get on it. Here's Johnson. He's got some time. He's throwing down the far sidelines. This one caught at the 20-yard line. Making a terrific catch is Jakari Edwards. But will they be bringing this one back?
Another flag out on the Blue Devils here. It looks like to be on the Blue Devils in the area of holding.
Can you just shoot yourself in the foot? And you can, because it's another penalty.
Holding again. They're just trying to give Jeremiah Johnson that extra second to make that pass, but man.
Bringing it back.
And as we've called these names, you're looking at the Blue Devil roster here. You've seen a lot of guys that are contributing that have a 9 or a 10 next to their name as their grade. And that's just something that you're seeing the seniors like Jakari Edwards, Justin Elkins, Blake Burke we called earlier, some of those seniors. But the Blue Devils have that young wave coming. You know, we talked about CMS earlier tonight, but some of those young guys are going to be big for the Blue Devil program here moving forward.
Well, you mentioned CMS, a big winner of Prospect Heights, right?
Yeah.
Those guys coming up through the ranks, and you're right. It's a really good observation. Look at the roster, and there are a lot of underclassmen on. Quick throw to the far side, receiver across the 40, 42, and that is Culpeper's Khalib Murray. First time we've called his name tonight.
Yeah, and we're looking at some Blue Devil injuries here. It looks like haven't seen Caleb Green back out on the field. We saw Damewood go out earlier as well.
2:30 and counting. Here's Johnson. Throwing downfield. This one incomplete. He had an open receiver, and it was number 14, Khalid Murray. But that's probably the third time tonight that he just underthrew a receiver who was open, but thankfully this was not picked off. But there is a pass interference penalty against Caroline.
Yeah, and Khalid Murray just called his name for the first time last play.
Right.
Speedster on the outside there, it looked like, to bring the Blue Devils a little bit closer to that end zone on the pass interference.
Clock is stopped at 2:22 to go as they mark this one off. It'll be a first down for the Blue Devils, and they have it at the Cavalier 43.
And we talked about it earlier, you know, if Jeremiah Johnson, you know, the one more second, the one more yard, being right there, you're seeing it right now with just needing that extra half second to get a good ball out.
Raleigh Vineyard in the backfield blocking. Watch out, Johnson going to be blindside. He was able to get it to Garrett Damewood before the heat and the pressure made physical contact with him. Damewood, a first down, and he got out of bounds to stop the clock.
That was a beautiful ball by Jeremiah Johnson there, rolling out to his left. Again, we've talked about those rollouts being successful for the Blue Devils offense, and Garrett Damewood making a great catch, getting both feet in there, making the NFL catch there on the sideline.
Johnson again. Raleigh Vineyard back to block. Watch out for this one. This one almost picked off. And that would have been Malik Johnson defending and unable to corral this one.
Yeah, just trying to hit Jakari Edwards up the left side there. Had him. Just another one where he just doesn't have enough time to put that extra touch on the ball and get it out in front of Jakari.
Dalton Butler wide right. Khalid Murray wide left. Quick snap, Raleigh Vineyard. And the Cavaliers were waiting for him. They tackle him for a loss. And the clock will continue running. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long. Looks like the Blue Devils may be calling a timeout here, and they do. We'll tell you this timeout. Our timeout sponsor is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial wellness of our members and the Culpeper community. UVACreditUnion.org. 1:57 to play, but the clock is not Culpeper's friend right now, Chris, when you consider that you need 2 scores rather than 1.
Not right now, and that offense that the Blue Devils have had here, albeit it's the hurry up and, you know, make things happen offense, it's worked for them a little bit, but it just seems to be a little too late.
Well, if you look back on this game, of course it's not over, but you look back on it, there were just too many instances where the Blue Devils did something good only for it to be negated by a penalty. All right, here's Johnson. They fake it to Stover. Johnson's going to be wrapped up for a big sack all the way back near the 40-yard line, and he never really had a chance. And in there making the tackle was Morgan Schneider from his defensive line position. And he had a little help there from Vladimir Joason as well.
Yeah, another one with that rollout. And Jeremiah Johnson, again, had a good fake. Just when a guy's right there in your face, it's kind of hard to hide the ball to get that pass off.
Not much you can do. All right, let's see if the protection holds up as he slings it downfield over the head of the intended receiver. That was Khalid Murray, and the Caroline Cavaliers come up with what? Is that their third interception tonight?
Yeah, it looks to be their third interception of the night. Almost one of those ones where you would have rather not picked it off with it being fourth down, but regardless, the Cavaliers will set themselves up to close out the game here with 1:20 left.
There's the drive killer, and that's going to all but do it for the Blue Devils tonight, because down by 9 points with 1:20 remaining, and Caroline back in possession of the football.
And you wonder, without some of those injuries that Culpeper had kind of sustained that we talked about, the Caleb Green, we saw Garrett Damewood able to come back in, but just changes things on your offense and puts guys in spots maybe they're not used to.
Vineyard coming with the blitz. Here's a handoff to Joison. And was trying to, the tackle made by Culpeper's 45, Tyler McKnight.
Tyler McKnight's been in there a little bit. I think seen some injuries, seen him kind of float into that safety linebacker spot as he roams down and goes get closer to the line. And like you said, we've had those linebackers blitzing all night for Culpeper's defense.
Well, the clock is running 45 seconds and counting here in the fourth quarter. Miles Holmes, Caroline quarterback, has no reason to be in a hurry. We'll run this one all the way down, and we'll have a penalty. Yep, and the clock is still running, 15 seconds and counting. Caroline already celebrating. The final seconds will be ticking off here. All right, and this was in the books. So our final score, 29-20. Chris, we've been talking about the game throughout in terms of the highlights and lowlights and big plays and bad plays, but more than anything, the thing that really comes to mind tonight is the Blue Devils. They had some moments, but they hurt themselves with so many penalties tonight.
They did, and it seemed like the Blue Devils were, like we said it multiple times, just one play away. And I think their offense grew a lot tonight, putting different guys in different spots. We saw Caleb Murray down there at the end of the game, somebody that they could use later on. Seeing how these guys do as they get ready to progress on to their next week. Hopefully some of those guys like Caleb Green can get back in there and give the Blue Devils a full offensive look for a full game and see what they can come up with.
Well, I've enjoyed calling the game with you tonight. It's been a real pleasure. Next week we're back covering Eastern View, taking on James Monroe and the Blue Devils. Well, if things were tough tonight, they get a little tougher next week, taking on King George. But it is what it is, as the expression goes. Anyway, that'll do it for us tonight from Caroline High School, where once again our final score, Cavaliers 29, Blue Devils 20. For Nicole back in the studio, Johnny behind the camera, and Chris Frazier tonight filling in admirably for Steve Peacock. Thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next Friday when Eastern View takes on James Monroe. So long.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. UVA Health Culpeper Medical Center is here to care for you and your loved ones. There are high-quality primary and specialty care locations right here in our community. Visit uvahealth.com for more information.